Howdy, folks. Welcome to Adventures in Alberon, Courts of Everest. I am Joe Treff, your DM this evening and most, and joining me are my friends, Matt, Vincent, Tina, Kara, Hannah, and Alana.
Whoop, whoop.
We are going to play some D&D tonight, but before we do, a couple of quick announcements. First of all, we swapped out our sound system yet again, and so Talon, please let us know how we sound, if you can hear us. That's super helpful, what the general levels are. If you can hear a tinny sound, it's helpful to know. We also have a couple of announcements before we get into our proper D&D. First of all, we have YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, all those different social media, and we have a great social media manager now in Olive.
Thanks, Olive.
Spice. We have tons of different things that come up onto our table. You can see right now it's just a roll of paper towels, but
And a
tiny chair.
Yeah.
You can see
Thanks,
the
Izzy.
tiny chair, paper towels, but usually maps, handouts, miniatures, when we post them on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and all that stuff. We have a tremendous number of different one-shots that are available up on those spaces. You can see those. And to see more about what's coming up in the next year, at Alberon RPG on YouTube, you can see the State of Alberon, where there is different themed events, different special campaigns, one-shots, some shots. Tina is running an 8-part Wheel of the Year. I would call that a campaign at that point.
Yeah.
An 8-shot.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Octoshot is really just a campaign.
Yeah,
Octoshot.
Optishot, I like that.
You didn't kill Santa Claus.
Yeah. There was a
More like Santa Claus didn't kill us.
Yeah, there's a brief moment where we almost necessitated our execution. But
There's always another year.
that's true. We have a whole year to die. So
And it only gets harder from there.
hear more.
What is your secret?
And when it is going to be happening over on YouTube at Alberon RPG. We have a whole bunch of cool stuff. You can see when it comes up there. I realize now I edited my notes for last week, not this week, because these are all last week's notes.
Oh.
So that's all the announcements that I think. Oh no, Patreon. We have a Patreon. Talon, thank you so much for being the very first person to join us. on the Patreon.
Continued King of Alberon.
Yeah, really, I mean, so supportive, Talon. Really appreciate you following along from the very beginning.
We're going to be live on Sunday.
We're going to be live on Sunday.
Right. Follow up.
Oh, yeah, we're going to, for announcements, yes. Okay, pin in that.
Okay,
Thank
sorry.
you so much, Talon, for following along and doing all these wonderful things. Really appreciate having you with us from 2019. I think, like, literally from the very first session, maybe. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, really appreciate having you, Talon. It's fantastic having you along. To Kara's point,
Hi.
we're going to be playing Fallout on Sunday live at noon. You can join all of us. It's going to be me running the game. Matt is going to be playing Bob the Cool. Vincent is going to be playing Jebedias, the super mutant. Kara is going to be playing Peggy, the town merchant. Hannah is going to be playing Madeline, the Brotherhood of Steel member, ex-Brotherhood of Steel member. And then Alana is going to be playing Marceline, the gunslinger.
Close
Well
enough.
remembered.
You're also going to have Olive joining us as a Mr. Handy unit named Miss Greta. And then one more person I think I'm missing. Who am I missing?
I think that was all of
That's
you.
everyone.
Ah,
So that's fine.
it's you. So you can join all of us when we play Fallout at noon on Sunday. We have a lot of people who will be here in costume, very casual costumes. I'm sure.
Casual costume indeed.
We have
Very
been
casual.
discussing it via
Super
text chain
cash.
for a very
Super
long
casual.
time.
Yeah.
You can see that when we do that on Sunday. We're also going to have a lot of cool physical props, fully painted miniatures. Very excited for that. And Modifius has been very supportive of us on social media. Not a sponsor, but could be. And that is all the announcements that I have for this week. So it's time for this week's session of Courts of Everest.
is not cooperating.
We're back. Wandering Hearts. When last we played, you arrived at the Rose Theatre and the audition for the sponsorship of Lady Arscourt Artasis. Moving quickly, Cheshire introduced the group, and you inserted yourself into the lineup. With Billy taking charge, Minka created ethereal light bolstered by Cheshire's magic, while Valis, Ori, and Cheshire carried the melody. When Billy began her song, many of the other hopefuls began to leave, and Alina softly carried the beat on her hand drum. And with that performance, you earned the chance to be Lady Oscourt's champions at the eulogy tournament of Lord Artasis at the Battle of the Bards. Upon leaving the Rose Theatre, but before returning to the Golden Fool and to Hearsome, Billy sidelined the entire group to go and visit Musa, the halfling who communicates through flute. While Billy carried on a flute versation, Alina and Minka provide context to Ori and Valis, who had not experienced Musa before. Billy encouraged Cheshire to sing her Song of Nithics in hopes of gaining more information, but instead gained a location and a time, 9 p.m. in the center of Petrichor's town square. You all hurried back to Hearsome's tavern to Valis's room, where Billy recapped the contents of the conversation with Musa. You all generally agreed to see the event that night and went to seek fashion advice from Hearsome. Before that, however, again, Billy once more and Alina took over Valis's room to have a heart-to-heart. Alina shared that her boon of Cernunnos could potentially free Billy from hag influence, but the cost was clear to Billy. The hold could not be broken, only transferred. After making her promise to save the boon for something else, they rejoined the others. Billy had difficulty explaining the meaning of her song, prompting an aside with Hearsome in his mansion, where Billy felt feelings and shared some painful memories with Hearsome. Upon returning to the group, Hearsome promised his assistance with any fashion needs, as most of you are woefully lacking in this regard. He also shared news that the Revelry of the Thorn is present in Petrichor to support Core and their showcase. Taking to the streets once again, Alina nervously met up with the Revelry members and Huntmaster Colored Letterwhistle. Afraid to face them, making excuses as though she hadn't fulfilled her mission to spread the word of Cernunnos. The Huntmaster reassured her that she had indeed done many heroic things to spread his name, including gaining the waistcoat of the Nightmare Rider. Feeling confident and with renewed vigor, you all sat down to a veritable corgusboard of meat and grilled foods. You walked outside at 9 p.m. to Musa appearing in the air with driving rain and bright lightning splitting the sky. And that is where we begin our session.
Very nice. All right, let me change the music here just a little bit. Okay.
I like to kiss the mic. What can I say?
Making
Sweet love to that mic.
Are we not supposed to be wanting to hit yellow?
No. You want to be like right underneath it, typically when you're talking like normal, and then maybe brush into it sometimes, but, or at least that's kind of how I've noticed it reflects well to the sound in the recording. I will also say, really inappropriate music for this, but it was the hardest part of that whole recap, Kara. Matt, very delicately next to me, was slowly putting the tinfoil to be like as quiet as possible. And then, wait, most of you may not have been, what none of you could see, is Matt then, after delicately peeling it for like 30 seconds, just goes,
It was audible.
like a monster.
It was noticed.
Funny. It was, and I like had to turn away. Man, that got me good. Anyways, all of you now find yourselves within the sort of rain town center of Petrichor. In fact, let me put up some rain for all of you. All right. It's close to 9 p.m., right around 9 p.m. People have congregated around the town here, and you can see that on the covered terraces, in door frames, in windows, people have sort of gathered, and all of you had seen up and above. Really, mostly Billy and I believe Ori had seen this figure. And as it turned over to 9 o'clock, there was a single crack of lightning that rolled across the sky, almost like a hand just stretching out. And illuminated by that, you can see this figure is Musa. And then Musa pulls this piccolo up. It glints silver in the bright light, or in the bright light of the lightning, and they play a single clear note that rings out like a choir boy piercing a silent night, a clean sound so pure it makes the breath catch in your heart, and it feels as if even the rain itself begins to slow. And then there are a series of high, sharp notes that each echo off the other, forming a beautiful sound like the stars from beyond the astral eclipse call out to each other fondly. And you realize that truly the rain hasn't only slowed. Here in this moment, as Musa begins to play, the rain begins to stop. All around you, droplets hang in the air, gravity still forming them into pear shapes, but they shake, almost excited. And there is a crack of lightning, and you realize that the notes have grown together in a melody of kindness and unity and brotherhood. Now, just kind of ringing together. Let me find some more piccolo-like music that is not strings.
I don't know. This is good music.
Yeah.
Is this good for this?
This is good.
It's excellent.
Leave it on. You can hear this melody holds together strong in the air here amongst these drops suspended in the air. And in the light from the electricity that crawls still across the sky, almost lazy, this lightning, you can see reflected in thousands of droplets of water this tableau. And at first, it's almost like you are just seeing a reflection of the people that are gathered in their windows. But then you can see that these are different people. These are people that are together, dozens of them gathered around what looks like a flickering communal fire, though it is only a reflection in this raindrop. You can see people sharing food, playing instruments, and behind them, some of the water angles itself to reflect the light more brightly, giving the illusion of twinkling stars. And for you, Minka, for just a moment, you feel your breath catch because this looks like the night sky that you saw in your vision. The notes then suddenly begin to grow louder. In the echoes of the streets without the pelting rain, it sounds like the music storms through the streets now, like a wicked, jagged beast. And you can hear the piccolo player's breaths intentionally kept ragged. And you see people in the streets around you now, looking at this like nice little scene, suddenly begin to kind of withdraw back almost instinctually. All of you feel as if you need to turn and look right, like something is coming. And then there is another crack of lightning, and in the sky you can see a single massive eye. And the pupil itself begins as Musa and then kind of widens. You can see these are still drops, but forming this illusion before the music shifts again, and then you can feel all around you the air is electric. And the music has become fast, and you can feel urgency and change, and not all of it is good. And then, for just a moment, there is silence. And then 3 piccolos seem to play all at once. And though you see only one person, each sounds slightly different. You hear one that is strong and cocky and powerful with Imperium in its sort of notes. It plays the same tune as the others, but it feels effortless and almost bored. The second is whimsical, not as musically sharp or correct, but it flows effortlessly and fills the gaps in the other two and sounds chaotic but melodious at the same time. And the final piccolo is sharp, and as it plays, power radiates through the air that is more arcane than a storm, and the lightning crawls once more across the sky, but in its reflection, you see the eye in the middle, you see Hirsum on the left, and a grinning, charming archfey on the right, whom none of you recognize. Sharp features, a clear face, and eyes that gleam with euphoria. And then abruptly, there is a crash of thunder that follows from all of those lightning strikes as if they had been stormed and stored this entire time, and then the rain explodes back down to the ground in a downpour. But the downpour itself shifts and glows, and over the next couple of hours, you imagine will likely continue to shed bright light like fairy fire diffused across the space. Bring some rain back. As this is happening, what are you all doing?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Seems.
What are the vibes here? Does it feel like Olympics opening ceremony? Does it feel malicious? Does it feel like
It felt portentous.
Make an insight check.
As I say,
Can we all make insight checks?
Anybody who wants to can make an insight.
Yeah.
Would love to.
That feels like it was telling a story.
17?
Yeah, that's a 16.
Okay, so hang on. Let's start with you, Billy, with a 16. As you hear this song played, turn my rain down just a touch. My song down just a touch. You can hear all around you there are voices, and at times they're kind of hushed and excited, and at other times there is like you can hear these and like gasps when there is that sound of like a jagged breathing, and almost like there is a creature. You can feel the piccolo and the echoes become like footsteps. You instinctually turn to the right. It's frightening. There's a lot of emotion here, but you can't really suss out any particular details. Elena, you had a 16?
17.
A 17 for you. Very similar experience. Minka?
21.
Minka, with the 21, you see these stars behind this individual illuminated, and though they aren't raindrops, you see constellations here. This is real. Whatever this is not just a simple illusion. This is something much more. And in this moment, as you really try to look at it, it is almost like as the lightning cracks and crawls, like these fingers that trace across the sky, they form similar patterns to the arcs that you had seen within that glass sphere. At once, with a 21, you recognize that there is a piece to this story that you have a very direct part in. This astral eclipse, this onyx spire, all of this is related. What did you know?
Dirty 20.
A dirty 20. As you watch this, there is very little in here that speaks to what is happening on Everest. You see no mention of the towers. There's no real talk of like the Emerald Spire or the Republic to the south. This is older for sure, and it speaks more to things that are happening within or have happened within the Feywild and places beyond. Aside from that, hard to really tell what. There's not like a direct emotion. There are some people who are really enthused by this, and especially as the water comes down after and it begins to glow colors, people are like, there's relief, there's like giddy laughter. People really enjoyed that performance, but there's still just a little bit of fear left over.
Like
What-
the
what was your check you
dragon.
wanted?
17.
Fellowship of the Ring.
Specifically, if possible, just to, you said there was fearsome,
Yes.
and there was another fey creature?
Yes.
And then the whimsical.
The other
race.
satyr. Yeah.
Oh,
And an arch.
Not a satyr
No.
necessarily.
Oh, an archfey.
An
Sorry.
archfey unfamiliar.
can I do the check to see if I recognize? I mean, is the eye
I think
the eye in the sky, and who's the other satyr?
Not satyr. Archfey.
Archfey. Sorry,
I had
someone
it
said satyr.
That was me. I had
It's
it
a
wrong.
17. That eye, so far, you've heard reference to somebody who has been kept from beholding Alberon and Everest in particular by the astral eclipse. And that eye, probably that person.
And
That archfey with a 17,
probably.
using context clues, you've heard of this figure, Nathan? No, Nithix was their name.
What you mean?
And that is probably who that is.
Okay.
But you also one time met this guy who sells salt back in the Emerald Spire.
Oh,
And
God.
it could be him too. The same similar kind of angular features.
Did they not is my boy Alendor not mentioned just because he happens to be dead?
Alendor is just
Because he was also part of. The
Alendor
pack.
worked to create the dome and
Make a
kept
history
the
check.
dome intact.
Let him make the history check.
Is it okay, Vincent? Is it more than one digit?
17. Oh wait, no, sorry, history?
Yeah.
Sorry, 22. Forgot to add numbers to
It's like
it.
you went to school or something. So with the 22, you think about this and you remember that no, Alendor, not a part of the pact in the same way that the three other individuals were. Alendor is the one that created the dome. They, while very important to the pact, not a party to it in the same way.
Oh, I thought from reading the book that he was like he
He
also
was there for the signing. He was there for all the important things.
Okay, but he's
There are three figures that are like centrally signed and are restricted in different ways. Alendor restricted that in that he's dead, but not party to the pact.
But it was more like the signator or the witness to the
Gotcha.
contract.
Makes sense.
And
He was, I mean, in lots of ways, he was like the
brunt
labor.
end of- yeah, he got the brunt end of
He was
He
very
was the
specialized
paralegal.
labor.
Yeah.
Like extremely specialized labor. Maybe two people in the world could build this. And actually, yeah, So really only one person on the material plane in this moment could do it, and it would be Alendar.
Was the other Gunter?
No. In no point in time did he have the ability to generate an arcane dome that houses like, I don't know, I think it's like 30 square miles. It's huge.
What if I try real hard?
Give it time.
That's good.
Did you want to make a check?
So the rain falls
did, but
down.
very
It's about 9:30
fittingly-
at night.
Because Tina knows so much. Cheshire rolled a 5.
That's crazy.
Cheshire's just like, bitch up.
This is pretty.
I like those flutes.
I think maybe we should talk about this.
Why did he's just performing or warning or
That
why?
at least part of it was real. Well, not like real, but correct, accurate. Should we go somewhere else?
Yeah, I don't really feel like eating more.
It's
Getting kinda wet here.
We are drenched.
You are all very full of meat,
Yeah.
mead, and now very wet as well.
Yeah.
The meat sweats mix in with the rain.
Alina's hair is getting very long because
to
it's
the
all
music
stretched out now.
in a way that would connote some sort of understanding like ours of the underlying
Make a
sort of,
perception check. Just look at the map here real quick.
Nice.
Ooh,
30.
where's the hot master?
What?
Just one moment. Okay.
Good call.
With a 30, you look around, you see like there are, at this time of night, even still with all the excitement in town, there are children who are awake. And so like there's excitement in them. You can see like families gathered in windows here. Petrichor, one of the few places that has actual windows because with the rain, you kind of need them. This is, you're not seeing anybody who's like acting markedly different until you really turn your attention away towards the Petrichor Performers Association. And as you kind of gesture off in that direction, you see a little bit more to the north, up on a little bit of a hill, Ariadne's Ale House. And kind of in the rain, still visible even in the dark because of the bright kind of pink colors that they wear, you can see off at a distance, maybe like 500 feet away, Tundon. And they are up on one of the roofs. They're sitting down, one knee kind of like brought up to their chest, the other leg just kind of kicked out and dangling over the edge of the roof. And they just seem to have been watching. And as the performance comes to an end, you can see like they're smiling. They seem to have enjoyed this performance. It's 500 feet away, so hard to tell much more. But they stand up and you see they like step over and then just like drop off the roof into the inside of wherever that building is. You've seen it actually. There's like a little courtyard before you get into the alehouse.
Do we see Ori or noticing?
Probably not with a 30. Ori definitely
That's
notices.
stealthy looking right there.
Yeah.
Do I see the Huntmaster anywhere?
Looking around, I mean, you just left them kind of back in the place. You have a good
Right.
idea as to where they are, but you don't see them.
Okay. Alina's gonna be like, I wonder if the Huntmaster can make any light of that.
I don't know if he didn't see it. I don't know.
I don't know. He's wise.
I don't think anyone's gonna be able to make light of that unless they know what we know.
I tell if it seemed to be more like a foretelling or more like a performance or show.
With a 5, it's hard to
Maybe
tell.
looking at it from like an arcane perspective, maybe an arcana.
Yeah, make an arcana
Perhaps,
check.
Hell yeah.
we should go inside.
I think so.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I think my armor is starting to oxidize.
30.
Excellent.
So you didn't see anything that really spoke about the arcane aspects of like creating the dome. There was definitely magic that was used in it, but what you're looking at really feels more like a magical recreation or retelling of something that has already occurred.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's a documentary.
Or at least the show of them.
Yeah, I would say it's closer to like a musical than a documentary, but like,
It's Hamilton.
yeah.
Documentary.
Three figures
Historical fiction.
Yeah.
presented by the three piccolos and their overarching theme.
Okay, well, where do we go inside? Do we go inside here? Do we want to go inside somewhere else?
Back to the inn, probably.
Okay.
Right?
You can see Ori just
I
begin
think we should all go for a drink.
points back towards Ariadne's alehouse.
Or
I could always go for a drink,
Drinks are good.
Okay.
Okay.
but we do need to like
follow.
practice at some point, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I'd like to know what the fuck is going on. Valis.
You're right. To drinks.
That was
This is priority system. Just all that
was not at all Valis.
Yeah, that's
Peanut,
right. You
Hannah
make your
talking
way
to
to
Vincent.
Ariadne's alehouse.
What?
This is the Petrichor Brewery.
What?
What do you mean? What?
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 Who's on first?
What?
No, what's on first?
Damn it.
Who's on second? You make your way to the large 3-story structure, the entire third floor dedicated to these gravity feeders for hops, barley, and rainwater. You can see the big canisters or drums on the alehouse, giving it a pretty distinctive silhouette. You can see, Ori, the place where you would see Tundon now, like, wet. It is filled in with rain. There's, like, no evidence that he was there. If you hadn't seen that, you never would have really clocked him. But making your way in, you can smell all kinds of strange scents. You smell things that are salty, and then in one nostril, kind of sweet. It's very peculiar as you enter into the space. But in the courtyard proper, there's a number of kind of containers and things that have been kind of arranged around the space. There's a large table that looks like it's almost built for a banquet, though it is not covered. And so in a place where it's always raining, this doesn't make the most sense as like a dining space, but seems to have been set up as such. Yeah.
Can you remind me, was today Tundon's pop-up or was that tomorrow?
It starts tomorrow, but it's
Okay,
getting
thank you.
set up right now.
Yeah. And sure enough, as you enter in, you can see through the doors, which are kind of thrown open and allow a little bit of like the smoke to escape the kitchen and a little bit of the humidity and cooler air to enter. You can see Tundon, who is in this moment actually still sopping wet, but now currently like chopping up vegetables and doing little bits of prep work. You can see the mise en place of this individual happening.
Alina's
Billy's
just
friend just put on a show. What's there to figure out?
How many? Are there more people in here?
don't you think it's weird that
The
it was
only other
that
person
story?
who is currently here at this
Well,
time of
you
night
said
and with
you
the
had
festival
information
coming
about
up
it.
tomorrow is the person who works behind the bar. This is a blue grung, who I believe you guys have met before.
Is that Gary?
No, Gary is a guard. That's how I remember. Gary.
He's guard Gary.
Perry?
Perry.
This is
Perry.
It's Barry.
Oh, I spoke to Perry earlier.
You spoke to Gary, who came into the place to talk to you. Yes, you have.
I bought beers from Perry.
I bought drugs from Perry.
Yes.
Very nice.
But Perry is also the person who works at Ariadne's, and
Perry is the person.
they are sort of like it looks like they're there trying to help, but every time they try to move, Tundon's already like doing the task that they had set out to do, and so like they're holding a spoon and like a plate, and that's kind of it.
A server
like-
in the chef section.
Yeah, absolutely. This is front of house. They'll go like 3 feet to the right, 3 feet to the left. They're not really doing anything, but they're there. And that's it. It's otherwise empty. It's not open to general business before the pop-up. The dining room would normally kind of extend out and into the courtyard. Many grungs sit outside even in the rain. But it's closed off as Tundon works and has the entire dining room set up as like a prep area right now.
I don't think it's open.
Why are we here?
Oh, sorry. Thought you would have been maybe open for some drinks.
You can see the grung kind of looks over, and there's like this big look. There's a big look of relief across his face, and he goes, "Oh, just a second!" And he like puts the plate down, and you can see the Tundon. And he goes, "I'm so sorry. I have to help these people." And he runs over, and as he goes outside, the little grung feet like in through the rain,
Just be careful around them.
makes his way over and just goes, "Oh, you're the Justicars. I remember all of you.
Good to see you.
Oh, I remember you.
Yeah.
You went down looking for something, or
I saw Tundon saw the show out there, and thought I'd come by, see how things were, maybe grab a round, and then We were actually performing soon, so we were looking for a place to rehearse. And
What are you
practice a bit.
performing?
Right now, I am 100% using minor illusion to copy Tunden's movements.
Cheshire minor illusioning another Tundon just across there, no problem. Get back to that.
What did you? Well, you asked me a question, and now I forgot.
Yeah, what are you performing?
Songs.
Oh, that's great. There's a lot of parts in town.
For the tournament, the eulogy tournament.
When you're done performing, you're gonna go see it.
Well, we're in it, actually.
Oh, you got seats.
No, like as performers.
I was just gonna stand outside and listen.
In the tournament, performing in. That's why we need to rehearse, because we are actually competing, I guess.
You can see the eyes narrow. He looks at you, and he goes, "Oh, I guess I believe that."
Technically, it's true. That was
We're representing Lady
Artasta.
Artastas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry?
She's just kind of mean, and she's a little classist.
She's
These are
craving.
Unfortunate.
statements. Yes.
What did you say?
She's graving.
I mean, I suppose. I don't think she really liked him.
What makes you say that?
I mean, that's just what everybody says.
If everybody jumped off a bridge, would you?
Well, why are they doing it?
Exactly.
You got me in a bind here. I know I should say no, but I kind of wanna.
Oh man.
You don't need to pay attention to rumors.
You can see he starts pulling out his boots.
No, you don't have to. You should please.
What bridge is this? I'm not gonna jump off it. I just want to see what's going on.
No, that's okay. Maybe we can speed past this conversation and just move on.
No, tell me more.
Why don't we? Do you mind if we get around and sit out of the rain for a little bit?
Oh no, that's fine. Would you like some morning dew, durian sour? It's fresh in as of yesterday. It doesn't smell the best. We also
I
have
would
some.
love one.
Oh no.
All right. We have Rosemary Rain Ale, we have Misty Marzon, we have a Eulogy Special Stout just for the tournament, and Ariadne's House Ale, of course.
Alina to Billy is like, please do not get drunk. I need to sleep tonight.
Please suddenly lost in thought.
Fine, you get one for me.
Lady Artasa seemed genuinely upset with her husband's passing, right? When the song was playing.
Make an
That's
insight check.
We also,
Kept her own last name.
like way back early in the campaign when we were investigating the murder, they had seemed to be in love. That's how they were like
Yeah.
described to us.
That's a 24.
Okay. With the 24, they may have been in love. That may have very well been true. The really upsetting thing for this individual, and you've heard a couple people comment on it, for somebody who is so in love with his wife, he didn't leave her anything directly.
Right.
It's contingent on a tournament. And that seems to be really more the sticking point here.
Right.
I'd like to ask Perry, is it okay if we play some music in here?
I guess.
I start tuning my wheel.
Okay.
Pull out my drum and I'm just like,
Oh yeah,
I'll have one of
you.
the rainwater ales, I guess.
No problem. They go over and they say, I only really got one answer, so I'll just bring over a variety. And he goes over and he'll bring back like 2 of each. Why not? And he'll say, that'll be just 4 silver pieces for everybody.
I'll pay him.
Okay, you give him 4 pieces of silver.
My treat.
He slides over 8 ales for all of you to choose from, 2 of each. But he says, I gotta go help this guy. I don't think he really needs my help, but I gotta offer. And he goes over and makes his way back over to Tundon. So you go and you mimic all of Tundon's motions as you go through. He smiles at you, just kind of nods. Tundon. section here.
Tundenschmef, the wonder chef, the wondrous, wondrous chef that meft.
What?
You're right. You're right.
She's not wrong.
You heard me.
She said what she said.
He looks at you as you kind of mimic his motions, and he says, "It's wonderful to see you, childlike me. You've got questions. Let them be."
There was a show outside. Everybody else says it's important, but it was just a show.
He... That's just a statement. But okay, you say that. He sort of continues to cut. You can see he's like waiting for you to continue speaking. You don't. And he just looks up, and he will say, "To many it might have seemed a show, but for all of you, it's facts to know."
Yeah. They didn't seem to like that answer when I told them either.
But why did he perform it now, tonight? Why this story?
A warning?
That's what I took it as.
Or an opportunity to learn something we didn't already know?
Both.
I think to reinforce something that we already know.
That
Because
as
we
well.
just read.
He doesn't know that.
But Tundon, what's your take?
Well, why do we tell tales at all? Tales that are short or tales that are tall?
That was really good. I mean,
We do it to grow, to learn more, and to know.
I just...
Billy drinks one beer.
I'm unsettled, and then
swirl it, and then just no air pockets.
Alina starts to be like, "Look, it's just really unsettling." Really, no, and then and then her attention fully is on making sure that Billy doesn't drink more.
No problem.
Then the allotted amount.
He turns and he looks at you, Ori, and to you, Alina, though you're kind of like busy now, and he says, "Ask yourself, chums, where might I go to chop down the plants of the seeds that I sow? Why, go to the roots, to the bulb, to the source. Choose one of these, and from there chart your course. You might wander east to the spire of green, and travel through halls of crystals that gleam, to the halls of knowledge on the facet of Magus, and to the first floor you'll have to find passage. You could also travel to the Tower of Red, where to sleep is to dream, and the dreamer is dead, to a place where power comes at a price, and where the heaviest cost has been levied but thrice. You may want to travel instead to the court, divine as white snow, and whose watch now grows short. The watchers of Everest, alert and prepared, but they know not what resides beneath what is theirs. Finally, at last, you may travel north, across the spokes of the wheel, to the Feywild, of course, to the alabaster reflection of the spire of black, the resplendent citadel where they wage an attack. But wherever you wander, wherever you go, remember the world grows darker and cold. When the shadows grow darkest and the fight grows hard, stand side by side to glow in the dark. And wherever the light of your courage does touch, it will shine and will spread, and that light does so much. When the hardest time comes, and it's near time for tea, you'll turn your backs to the forest, friends, and your front to me." And he turns and just swipes all these cut vegetables off into like a basket, and then kind of hums a little bit and like wanders out and into the rain, opens up a crate and begins to like pull out all these different colored potatoes. Anybody responding?
Josh is just kind of nodding.
Oh boy.
Alina's like, "What the fuck?"
So which of those ways would you propose?
Well, none for me. That path for her to go.
Right.
And of those paths, if you were to go, which one? So that we may know.
Billy reaches for a second one.
Ori, I think he is saying that is for us to choose.
All of you still
Well
have
then,
choices.
Cheshire, where are we going?
Yeah, it's not us. It's Cheshire.
Which way is the string leading?
I I'm just the guide along for the tour.
This is true, and for that you should be sure. These words you hear, they are not me, just strings made air, a revelry. But if you seek to find the source, from darkest dungeon it bubbles forth.
So if you're
So
a
then
guide
we
on it,
must
That makes sense.
Continue north.
Each
That
one of you
wasn't-
has a choice to make,
The obvious.
whether you know what it is or not.
Right.
Okay, that. Care to elaborate?
I hate riddles.
I
Yeah.
So the-
hate to bring this up.
You know what it means.
We each come from a place where this is partially tied to. Do we not?
Only one of you has a title yet.
Has what?
A title.
Who's that?
What?
Oh no. Cheshire mentioned I was the key. Is that my title?
Oh.
Oh no.
How did you become the key?
I don't think I became the key. I think I was born the key.
It's ours.
So
or
do we?
made the key when I found my stone.
So do we all need titles, or just take the? Oh,
Oh god.
None of the rest of you to
Do
settle
we?
yet.
Do we all have a piece to play?
Well, that was pretty obvious.
I'm sorry. I just
choice I have to
Any
make.
non-riddle information?
Okay. So, we all have a piece
Okay,
to
thank
play
you, Cheshire.
in the story, like actors, right? And whenever there's like a play, people have titles, and Cheshire's the narrator, essentially, the guide. If
So
I'm
wait.
the key,
You said only one of us has titles. You have a title.
Well, yeah, but
Does she have a title?
she's
You can see Tundon is like sweeping all these potatoes, like brushing the dirt off of them. He looks up at you and he says, "A title is a word that you have chosen. For me, the lines are much more frozen, less fluid, less movement, more static in place. But for you, a future without a face."
I didn't play with dolls growing up. And I think I'm okay with that.
But Billy, yes, you did. And there is no rhyme.
I don't like you. You, not you. You.
You do that, no problem. Continues to just brush these potatoes.
So it sounds like I think there were 4 options in what Tundon said, right? And there's 4 of us that need titles, but I couldn't. 4 places we can go. It was the Awesome Lock.
The awesome. So clearly,
Winter Court.
they're all for us. The Awesome Lock.
Winter Court,
The Awesome Lock.
Crimson Tower.
Tower,
Crimson Tower.
and
There's
Farther up north.
the
The dome.
the dome, but inside the dome through the Feywild, because there is a reflection. Just like with the Ice Devil, I'm assuming that there's a reflection of the tower somewhere else, as, you know, Alabaster Tower, where there's an attack. So apparently there's a thing happening at the...
didn't we hear a while ago about the Winter Court?
yeah, that was one of the places that Hearsome suggested we could go.
Kara wants Billy to roll a thread connecting check, but I don't know if that's a thing that I can do.
It's not really a thing that anybody can do, including Cheshire.
Insight?
Or Tundon. Or Joe.
Basically, Kara has through Billy has come to a realization that that Tundon said that the Tower of Alabaster, which is the mirror of in the Feywild of the Onyx Spire, is planning an attack or coming under attack.
Got you.
Devilry? No, that's just Kara asking for free information.
Probably has something to do with the fact that beings within the Dome of Alendor are no longer within the Dome of Alendor.
Well, there was
A back door of sorts, yeah.
I don't know, because here's the thing. Well,
Besieged from
okay, so There's devils happening in the Feywild over here, and then there's Billy starts going off on a tangent about like the ice devil and like devils in the Feywild.
Red threads.
Kara causes redlining.
Oh, you're doing okay. Just a little yellow, that's all.
I mean, at the end of the day, it sounds like we need to just choose where we're going next and go.
The ending isn't finished,
That much is true.
so it's up to us to write it. Okay. This is weirdly starting to make more sense, and I feel like that shouldn't be correct.
I
feel like I'm-
for tomorrow. It's tomorrow, right? This is when we're playing.
No, it's
It's the next day. It's the 10th. It's the 10th.
Without Alina realizing it, Billy's grabbed a second beer.
tomorrow.
Okay. No
Kara
problem.
made me roll for perception for it.
Make a Constitution saving throw, Billy.
Damn it!
I will.
Billy is now
See if I
shot.
noticed her
Billy has
drinking
killed
a
2
beer.
beers in about 20 minutes. So Billy's working on a pretty good.
I'm going to grab one of the free
Pretty good
beers
Okay.
Or he's gonna have
and then
one, too.
sniff it to see if it's the
Probably
durian
Cohen
one.
having one.
Did you add +3?
Aggressively.
Oh,
Too bad.
15.
At +3.
You're about to start feeling like whoa, but then you let out a loud burp, and that just
Dallas
takes
goes,
just the
"Are
edge
you
off.
Ballas cast lesser restoration.
Instantly sobered.
But you feel pretty good. You are kind of sinking into a groove where you are you are kind of like yellow lining being drunk. Like you're just at the edge where you're starting to realize that if you drink much more, you're not going to remember everything tomorrow.
And then Alina's like, Billy, I'm really proud of you for only having one beer.
You just see a second glass in her hand,
Damn
and then she
it,
lets out some
Billy.
milk.
Yeah, and the belch smells different than the beer, so it's,
God damn it.
it's at
Billy.
least 2.
I start practicing my veal.
Okay. You start practicing your veal.
Very specifically, if you want to know how I'm practicing, I've laid out some swords on the ground,
Okay.
and I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna cast Animate Object
Okay.
on the veal, the bow, and the swords, and I'm practicing spinning the swords around while I play, and also practicing playing the veal and telling the veal to memorize what I'm playing, and then I'm gonna like let it go and tell it to repeat it.
It feels like several checks.
There's so many things happening.
Like that soundboard.
Practice.
Oh, boy.
Billy's like
Okay.
reaching for another beer just to get through this.
For me,
Get some water. Get this.
so you can cast Animate Object for free. This is really about being able to appropriately instruct magical instruments and weapons to do a choreography.
Exactly.
Mind you, this is not a spell that you natively cast. It's coming from Javaris. So this isn't even a spell that like is coming from you.
Jabbar's got my back.
Yes, Javaris,
Make a performance check.
clearly a man of charisma.
I'm going to just start ritually casting Purify Food and Drink, seeing the amount of distress that Billy's drinking is causing Alina.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
15.
She's just gonna keep you
With a 15, this is a lot to concentrate on. You just
beer is so
technically
fat.
learned veal
Just tastes like
a day ago.
I've known it for ages. My ancestors told me.
Technically true. All the same, this is not.
It's in the DNA.
It's not it's so like playing an
Down the
instrument.
line of avatars.
Playing an instrument is really also about like muscle memory, building muscles, calluses, things like that, and you have none of that. And that's really making itself known. Your fingers start to bleed pretty quick, and even though you only
Lay
are,
on
like-
hands.
Lay on hands.
Heal instantly.
It's a little distracting. You find that you are like really coming off flat on a lot of notes. It's difficult also because it's like you're in a kitchen and people are doing things around you. So as like the swords animate, like this little grunt is like, oh no, and like dives for cover. You can see like they get up, they hold up like a cutting board, and then they realize like you're just playing music, and there's a lot going on. And so it's
you
like,
also feel stabbing in the back of your neck.
Are you stabbing me?
It feels like stabbing, but it's just Billy glaring at you.
eyes are daggers.
This song means a lot to me. This is dumb. point of gesturing at the swords.
Focus on the musical element and let maybe someone like Cheshire focus on the panache of the
Yeah.
thing.
What we did the first time really worked, you know?
Oh, this was gonna be for the second part.
Still, I think the second one
But I hear
should
you.
be a little, you know, I am recognizing my support role. in
You're,
this.
and for you're looking at Valis, and Valis is looking at you very earnestly, and these two swords just around behind him. And you know, this is for like the eulogy tournament of this dead dude. And you can see Valis has like it's like the Rockettes, but swords. There's some tone things happening here. And
Remember that ultra respectful eulogy tournament we all took part in?
Yeah.
For the second performance, we should follow Cheshire's lead on the showier elements.
The swords go back into their quiver.
Okay. One of them looks kind of sad.
Or what? It's not really a sheep at this point. All the swords
It's
are
a
going
crown.
into just one quiver.
It's a crown.
Sword.
The crown sword?
Oh yeah. Some of them are.
Okay.
Some of them are.
Speaking of which, I've never. What are we doing for the second performance? Should we, practice a little bit?
We should probably
We're telling the
practice a
story of
lot.
us.
We should have probably practiced for like the last 6 months, but here we are.
So what are the songs called again?
Oh boy.
Well, those are more observations. This will be heavily dramatized.
Heavily dramatized.
Hmm?
Are we talking about like on the level of things that could feasibly have happened, or
No.
okay, that's saying something. We fought fire giants.
We
In a
should maybe
volcano.
not say too much about the things that we've done, because if people that we don't want to be listening are listening,
Well, that's why it's heavily dramatized, Ori.
Honestly, I
So wait,
trust
what
you
do-
because that song you wrote about me is not true at all.
I mean,
Sees the irony.
so wait. What do I play to accompany the song? What do we play to accompany the song?
Oh! And Judger's gonna
Oh.
proceed to explain and teach everybody their part.
Okay, all right.
Would people be okay with
Practice that.
one rehearsal later?
Yeah, absolutely.
We've gotten to that
done in
point.
the form
So-
of dice rolls.
Your montage, right?
No, yeah, so we can montage this, no problem.
Yeah.
Cheshire really takes the musical director role here and begins to kind of get everybody into their positions. And do you play like the music for them? So all of you sit through this medley, which is like partial versions each of Minka the Malicious, Ori the Oblivious, Alina the
Braces.
Abrasive. We have
Billy the Blue.
Billy the Blue. Oh man, Billy. That's
Oh, she.
You were ready. You were ready for it to be something insulting.
We waited
but
a
you
whole
weren't
week to
ready
put that
hate it.
hated.
That's
the
great.
mark.
More blue.
Wait, and what's Valis's?
I haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
Malice the schmalice.
You do get the
Valis the
sense.
vacant.
You do get the sense that this will translate into some tangible benefits to your performance. You practice this now once. Practicing it more than once probably a good idea, but
Continue to practice.
you
Go another round.
We'll say like as you reach like midnight, you've practiced for a couple hours now at this point. Done all this kind of stuff. At some point, he's just straight up
Mouth is starting
disappeared,
to get pretty dry.
and it's just a very sleepy-looking grung who is kind of keeping it open for you now.
Maybe we should go get some rest.
I feel like we should probably practice more, but I also feel like I won't be able to.
Grung is like,
what
"You're
time?"
bleeding, friend.
What time is the performance tomorrow? Like, do we
Oh,
know
it's-
like what time of day?
You mean our?
First one's in the morning, and the second one's in the.
But it's the
got
tomorrow,
another
not
day.
tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we'll practice more tomorrow. It'll be fine. But I would like to go to sleep because I don't know if I told you guys this, but I slept really poorly last night, and I
Oh, you didn't
kind
tell
of
us that.
feel like I'm gonna start to make.
Oh, I know.
Is your bed uncomfortable?
I've been making exhaustion checks all day, man.
Super drunk and then kept Alina up all night.
What?
It's fine. Everything's fine. But I am tired.
The procession is tomorrow, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
the procession of prizes is tomorrow.
Do we know what?
when?
I believe so. Yeah.
Don't tell me Cheshire's a teetotaler.
Yeah, you know how it's happening right around 10 o'clock? So, in like one of the first things that day.
Okay.
I need to sleep. Please, can we go back to our beds?
Let's go rest. But before we go to bed, I do have some questions for Cheshire.
Yeah.
Do we want to do it here or back at the Fool?
Maybe walk and talk.
Yeah. Basically, do you have any idea of what the other roles are?
We'll see you tomorrow.
The Grung is the only one who's still awake. He just kind of goes, yeah, no, of course, I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Barry.
Okay.
Door shuts behind
So you don't know what the roles are, okay?
you for Dad.
In the song, those constellations were accurate. Those are real. I saw them when I looked at the orb.
What did they mean to you?
Well, I saw them on the path to where home is, past the eclipse. And if I'm a key, I'm worried about what the door is. Or the lock.
Well, if your home is like beyond the eclipse,
So,
My home is underground.
Ori's like,
sorry, I mean your
Ancestral home?
like where you're from.
the ancestral home is beyond the actual.
We don't say that, Alina.
Damn it, I was doing so
Also,
good.
Hard. Come to the
Sure.
It makes sense that Minka would be the key because if Minka is on this side, but ancestrally from here, there's some way in which Minka was able to come through at some point. And so there is quite possibly a way for it to happen in reverse, and thus also to open a larger passage through.
With you turning and telling me this, I'm imagining Ori, like Ori's inner monologue is just like there's a like spotlight that comes on in a dark room, and it's Ori just sitting there like this, and he stares at the camera and just starts talking like this. Yeah,
William Shatner monologue.
It's like the semi-transparent me, just like, wait. You think all these
Are you saying any of it out loud?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay.
So you think all these things, and those are thoughts in your head.
And I'm like, wait a second. And then I say,
Billy's been
Exactly.
dragging Ori along the entire time.
We're
Makes sense.
circling it.
That makes sense.
So, I mean, we don't have to worry about it yet, right? Because we're not, up eclipse.
Ori's also now thinking about how.
Look at the camera.
Ori's now thinking about how some of the folks that were in the dome should not have been there. And maybe the reason why we are being tasked to maintain this so much is not necessarily as much of a threat to everyone involved as we've been made out to think. And perhaps it is all by design, and we are thus fated to open the dome and release and re-enter the astral eclipse convergence of this mother, her.
So are you gonna
Are you
wait-
saying any of
are you
this
gonna
out
wait-
loud?
Are you gonna wait 10 seconds?
Okay. Or he's now just like wait, and then like that's so.
Well, we're here. Time to go to bed.
I don't want to be fated to do anything.
3 times. Thrice? 3 times. How many holes in the astral eclipse are there?
You said y'all made one. We saw one with what was the trans name that we were with?
Jacaranda.
No, not that one. The one that accompanied us.
The youngin.
The youngin. The one with the hero voice.
No, oh no. Give me a second.
So it was that
Go back and
one.
figure out what it was.
Bell.
Something. Maine.
I think it was Oakrest.
Ogrest. That sounds right.
So it was
Ochre Maine.
Ogremain. There we go.
Ochre Maine.
that one,
'cause
the
yeah,
one
Ochre
above
Maine, the
the
On the one above the Sentinel's Tower.
Yeah.
Sentinel's Tower, and then the one that we accidentally created.
Yes, Oakerman.
Can you repeat that line again?
So-
About thrice?
Ori's the one with the Crimson Tower. 3, you said source thrice, sacrifice made thrice, cost of power paid thrice.
I don't remember.
We're just trying not to think about that one.
Sure. That's
Ori,
for avoidance is free.
I am so sorry
free
to
action.
ask this. How many siblings do you have?
Just the one, as far as I know.
How many siblings does he remember having?
Damn, that's crazy.
Don't like Joe's face there.
You keep saying things and then just looking at me.
Well, I don't know if you made a secret sibling. For
Ori cleans his finger down.
I only ask because I know one of the pieces, the sentinel over the tower, made the stars come back over there. He punched a hole there, right? So was that power sacrifice that, or is it related to something else? That might be related to the wake peaker flu, and
I don't think that's related to.
I
Well,
don't think it's not.
Not
It's all connected, man.
not as directly as I think you are maybe implying, but I do think it is relevant to the general situation that we're dealing with.
Okay.
I would like to sleep on this.
That's probably fair.
Billy,
Make
if
your
you
way
wake
to the
me up
golden
tonight, I will punch you in the face multiple times. Good night, everybody. And Alina
Before
goes
you
to bed.
No.
Before I go, what?
Sorry, I guess I can wait.
We're just gonna spend the extra 4 hours practicing flute more outside.
Sorry, extra what hours?
Trancing hours.
Okay, oh, that's what you meant.
Extra 4 hours that come from transit. No problem.
Alright, we trance. And Ori and I are hanging out.
Okay.
Give us a wall.
I saw.
I mean, we are unbalanced.
So no problem. You spend a little bit of extra time doing some flute. Is there anything that people want to do before marking off this long rest?
Honk shoe, honk shoe.
Yeah.
I like to go through my memories.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up the Valis memories.
Oh, I hate playing the viol.
Turns out you actually have a really traumatic history with the viol.
And it's you going, I'm never going to play in front of a crowd again.
The rest of you hear a VO fly out the window.
Valis remembers his stage fright.
Could you imagine?
Little 6-year-old Valis at the school play, and he had the solo, and everyone laughed, and his string broke.
And it was all a dream, and his pants weren't on.
And everyone could see his boxer shorts with hearts on them.
To school and you never went to school.
And everyone laughed.
There was a math test and you didn't study.
Just 1 second. I have to pull up my
Oh God, why? Why all of that? Is that floating back?
My dreams like that used to be that I had to call a show, but I had never seen the prompt book before.
Oh no.
For some reason, give me just 1 second.
alright.
Sorry, I have to pull this.
I'll say this on stream, but I said this the other night. I had a dream where it was Minka's fault that we learned the name of her.
But now that you've said it on stream, it's gonna be real.
We always
It's
knew that
canon.
Minka was
It's
going to
be a
the
canon
big
event for
bad.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was so anxiety
Kara, what's your
inducing.
oh wait, no, I'm being dumb. Sorry, it's in the Lindarish Guildhall because that's where the memories were stored, so that's where I wrote them. Give me one
But
second.
now you can put it in Valis's
Okay, Valis.
stored spot.
So you go ahead and
Just
open
go
up this
over one
box
thing.
that is your memories. And as you do, you can see there is just one shy of the ones that you had, the one that you've already kind of had Cheshire reintegrate for you.
I don't think I've reintegrated that yet,
and it's
actually.
just right there. You can see, tucked in, safely and sound. There is a number of other memories, and as you begin to go through them, you can see there are many that have things in common. There's a few that stand out. Give me one moment here.
Start storing those memories.
Start just lining them.
Main line.
So you remember the first memory, you kind of touch it again just because it was such a nice one. Waking up in the soft kind of emerald light of that room, feeling the familiar flatness of your bed, and then seeing and hearing Mela. You remember this individual saying that they've just finished making breakfast and you got up just in time to do the best part, to eat. And then the memory ends and you touch the next one. And you wake up in a room that is dark, save the small bits of light that mark the lanterns hung outside along Zusalt Road. And nothing has really changed. The bed is still flat. But it isn't the absence that wakes you. It's the coughing. As Mela coughs hard, you can smell blood, and even in the dark, you can see a tinge of red in her eyes. You see, or she sees that you're awake and smiles weakly. And she kind of coughs, and in the dark, you can hear, "Suppose you should be satisfied with yourself. I've just finished coughing, and you've woken up for the easiest part, falling back to sleep. Come here, love." And she pulls you close, and you can feel in the darkness how small she's become. And in the next memory, you are in a room that is dark but not oppressive. You are alone with Mela, laying on a stone table, draped with a clean white cloth. And in a basket at the side of the table are several discarded rags, pink with frothy blood. Mela looks at you lucidly for the first time in months. You don't remember this time well, but you sense, Valis, this is not because it was taken from you. There is a part of you that will not remember. Even holding them in your hands, you can't see. But she holds your hand here with surprising vigor, and she says, "Valis, I need you to know something. I'll always love you, Valis. You are the light of my life. And no matter where I may go, I'll see you. Even if you can't see me, Valis, I'll be there. I'll be loving you. When others give up hope, and you do not, it's because I'm there with you, and you aren't alone. Not ever. Share our light with those who can't feel it, and spread it across the land. That way, for the rest of your days, no matter how far you turn or who you see, you'll see me too." And then all at once, you can feel your soul break. In the next memory, it's winter, and it isn't the grayness of the skies that have drained color from the spire, it's the loss that has drained it from the world. The world is broken, and the light is left, and Mela is gone. Now you're back in a room with the same darkness that is now almost comforting. You can see a man in front of you with kind eyes, dark skin, and a broad, short nose. On his white robes are the icon of the Order of the Tearful Dove, and you know them to be Spirit Shaker Ramarte. And they say, "It is not my place to force you to stay, Valis. You've come to complete your service. If the Ausenlock may hold answers to what happened to Mela, you should go. Just be careful, Valis. There is natural, and there is supernatural, the stuff of gods, and this flu is neither. It is made by man, or I suspect, elves. And there are many of them in the Ausenlock." And the memory ends, and you search for more, but in this moment. It is like 2 a.m. You have been here for hours, and you have gone through all, and there is certainly more missing. This is not all of your memories. This is about half.
Hey, Alice, you ready for your trance?
That was really beautiful, Joe.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I was really sad when I wrote that.
You okay?
I'll be okay.
Alright, well, get some rest. We got about 28 hours until we have to, I guess, become traveling band or something.
Right.
Alright, I'm gonna
Right,
go play
the
some.
show.
Practice a bit more. Alright. If you need anything, I'll be here. Just so you know. Alright. Enjoy your trance.
Thanks, Ori.
You make your way out to practice more flute. And the short flute, it does go do. But the ninth of high sun draws, the storm steadily falls, and for you, Ori, as the hours draw a little bit earlier, you see the colors fade, and it is just natural rain, no longer the effects of this piccolomancer taking hold. There is palpable excitement in the air, though, as the morning kind of draws, and you see gray replace black. Give me one moment here.
Ori's the worst.
Ori, yeah. It's Ori that's the worst.
Like, I mean, we technically are a band, and we're gonna. I guess you're not wrong.
Ori, as you wake up, you can hear outside palpable excitement in the air as people are gathering outside along some of the main roads. You know that the procession of prizes is happening today, and even here at 8 a.m. on the 9th of High Sun, people are already trying to jockey for place to get a good spot for this parade. But you wake up. For all of you, you can mark off a long rest. For those of you who are exhausted, you can rid yourself of that exhaustion.
Hey!
I'd like to do something where we all gather
Never
for
got
breakfast.
quite
Sure.
there.
So one by one, you make your way downstairs. You would find that at the bar, that same familiar gentleman who seems to always be polishing the same glass. Yeah, but
It's a miracle there's still glass left to polish.
How's the marble countertop looking?
it's looking exactly the same as it was looking before.
Mystical.
But you make your way over, and he would, same as before, kind of let you know there isn't quite like breakfast done. 8 a.m. is a little early for this place. But by 10 o'clock, there is breakfast on the table for all of you.
Well, we need to go see the procession.
Right?
Before we go, if I can have everyone's attention for a second.
The bartender puts his glass down.
Not you.
Get back to work!
I've been holding it off for a while, cause I've been, you know, when you've been working for something for so long and you finally get it, and I was a little scared, but I would like to introduce you all to someone. And Valis puts on the table an encoded thought, and then he says, "This is Mela, my wife." And he gestures for you to all touch it.
Which memory is it?
It is the morning memory.
Okay.
Do you want me to read it again?
No, it's okay.
The nice one.
So each of you kind of in turn touches this, and for a moment there is this, as you are brought into the perspective of Valis, it's very weird. You feel like what it's like to be in Valis's body. For many of you, you just wake up, and as you stretch, you hear like the cracks of bones. You're loud, even just like you don't know how it's possible to be stealthy at this point.
This feels
so happy.
But it is so nice. It's beautiful here. You see these soft kind of almost emerald tones in the air, and then you smell these smells, and you see the door open, and you see in this moment, though, you can tell intellectually this isn't like the most beautiful woman in the entire planet. To Valis, it absolutely is. You are looking at somebody who, when Valis sees them, it is like the rest of the room just desaturates, and in this memory, there is only one thing that is important. It's like you can't even focus on other things in the memory because the attention is so sharply focused on her. And for each of you, you can feel that there is connection and love and belonging in this memory. And then you are right back in the inn.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. I was going through the memories last night. Mela was my wife. She passed away in the early waves of the Wake Peter flu. I feel really thankful to all of you for helping me recover these memories, and I want to just share what some of them contained. For after Mela passed away, she asked me to continue being a light for the world as I was for her. But the bakery didn't feel the same after her passing. And so, after that, I did my year with the Tearful Dove and joined the Austin Lock to ensure that no other wives, husbands, fathers had to go through what I go through, and devoted myself to researching the Wake Peter flu. And after I was banished from the Austin Lock, I've been wandering ever since, until I found myself amongst the Wandering Hearts. And I just want to thank you all for helping me find these.
Alina clasps his shoulder.
For what it's worth, I do think you've done that.
Done what?
Continue to bring the light.
Thank you, Ori. Cheshire, could you help reincorporate the rest of these memories into me?
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yes.
You reincorporate these memories into Valis, and for you, Valis, one at a time, as you get these put back into your mind, it is like you are regaining layers of loss that you had lost. And at the same time, you feel more empty than you ever have, but more whole than you've ever been. It's a very, very peculiar sensation, but you didn't realize how empty you had really been. And as these reintegrate, there is gratefulness and gratitude, of course. This is something that you would never want to forget, but it hurts to remember.
The line between clarity and cruelty can be thin.
Cheshire says this as she finishes encoding the final sort of thought, because Cheshire, you see each one of these as you re-encode them. And so for all that Valis has to do, that the connection isn't as strong. You feel those emotions. You see that story in a way that would never be able to be told verbally. But you reintegrate those memories in Valis, you are closer to being back to whole.
If you're watching Valis get reincorporated, you'll see tears stream down his face as he gets these. And when she's done, when Cheshire is done with a lot of the chest memories, Valis will say, I think I remember something that might be important to us. When I left the Order of the Tearful Dove, my mentor, Spirit Shaper Marte, I told him I was going to the Austenloch to continue researching the Wake Peter flu. And he warned me about the Austenloch. He warned me specifically that the Wake Peter flu didn't seem natural, that it seemed like it was created, and he thought that they were created specifically by elves, and that there were a lot of elves within the Austenloch.
Well,
So what do you really know then, Ori?
I was
Valid.
gonna say, but well, we've made connections from the Wake Peter flu to the Tower of the Crimson Mage.
Look, I don't know anything more than I've told you.
That's not what I'm
But
trying to imply.
I know what the implications are.
But what does that accomplish? What does the flu accomplish? Why would someone make something like that?
Why do people with great ability and power do anything?
One of the options for the next place to go was the Crimson Mage's Tower. Do you think it's time to go home, Ori?
It seems like if the tower is involved and my sister is acting on its behalf, the dome still takes priority. Unless we want more information. But then I would say the Austenloch may be a better option for that.
Is your go-to usually? Just saying. More information. What else is going on? Right there with you.
But for me personally, I would like to get to the dome as quickly as possible.
Interesting turn of fate.
We know that your sister went north too, so if we can find her, maybe we can get some answers without having to go to the tower.
Which is why I would like to go there as quickly as possible.
In light of this, however, where do your priorities lie?
These seem to be only half of my memories. So,
We do have a task waiting for you.
so I'm gonna go looking for the task ahead of me and hope that I am strong enough to fulfill it. And I believe it is with the Wandering Hearts.
And where? With Wandering Hearts.
The other places that memories were coming from.
What do you mean?
We have 4 options.
Austenloch was one, right?
Where who was gone?
The memories.
The Emerald Spire. The Austenloch is there.
We're working on it.
She's just pointing to the east.
Yeah, from the east.
To the Emerald Spire, you mean?
Yeah.
I would guess the Austenloch, as I've been more affiliated with them, and I'm not sure if I've shared this, but he takes his prayer beads, the prayer beads of Javaris, and he says that I believe that these, very similar to the, what's it called? Arc light that we found below in the Underdark to the prison. I believe this acts as an arc light within the Austenloch.
That's correct, Valis. You can hear, as you are now playing the prayer beads,
Everyone sees me because hold up Valid beats to my ear like I'm on the phone.
and he
Might
says,
take a minute.
"No, you never talk to me aside from using the one ability that I have. But you could just ask me questions, you know. Yes, I I will serve as an Arclight reagent for the Awesome Lock.
What does that mean, Javaris?
It means using these prayer beads, you can traverse many of the floors of that place. Not all are accessible to most people.
Thank you, Javaris, friend of Valis.
You are welcome, Valis, who is a friend.
I'm your best friend. You're my very good friend.
Dallas's best.
Javaris reminded me that we can access levels of the Awesome Lock that not everyone can with these beads as the Arclight. So,
Does that include the first floor?
so when you go into the Awesome Lock, is it not the first floor? I may not know this.
You don't know. You have no idea. You don't remember
Ori
much about
knows,
the Awesome Lock.
though.
Or you would remember, and for anybody else who spent any reasonable
It's
amount
like
of time in the
stacks.
Spire, yeah, so much of the accessible part of the Awesome Lock is stacks. Each floor sort of dedicated to a number of different sections. The entryway, Ori, make a history check. Anybody else who's been to the Emerald Spire, make a history check.
Do I get my
Like,
thing?
been to there?
Before the campaign.
Okay.
Oh, I don't think I would have
Nope,
been there yet.
we specifically didn't.
We very specifically have not been there. It's true.
We
I lived
bumpkins.
under a little rock.
It's Ori. Ori and Valis.
This side is the untraveled side.
Pumpkin. Nothing wrong with that.
18. That's not bad.
Within 18, most people speak about entering the first floor, and this is adequate because that is the entryway, that is where the circulation desk is, that's where the primary staircase begins.
And the primary sources.
But the Emerald Spire is quite tall, and it's actually on the 13th story of the Emerald Spire, and the Awesome Lock itself goes both up and down.
The first floor isn't the first floor of the Awesome Rock, but it's the first tier of the spire itself, because the Awesome Rock goes down, which means that whatever we need is going to be in the deepest parts of the library.
I'm confused. So when you enter the Awesome Lock, what floor
The
is
Awesome
it?
Rock starts at the first floor, but all the floors are
hate
progressively
riddles.
lower.
I'm
Whereas the
There are a
library
few above the
first
13th
floor,
as well, but
the library first floor is on the 13th tier of the spire as a whole.
Javaris, if I were to use you as an Arclight, could I access all floors of the Awesome Lock, or are there any floors that I could not use this Arclight to access?
the Awesome Lock's primary library consists of the stacks, which, in terms of absolute floors, span the 10th floor through the 18th. I can get you as deep down as the special collection of arcane texts. That's the 6th floor, and below that, there is no easy means of egress, Valis, who is a friend. It is magically protected.
Thank you, Javaris. Javaris says that the main stacks are the 10th to the 18th floor, and he can get us down to as far as the 6th.
Okay.
We could go to the Awesome Lock. It would delay us in going north, though.
Well, I've said what I vote for, but
We don't need to go to the Awesome Lock right away. I believe that if I just keep traveling with y'all, that I will find what I'm looking for.
but
And that has already happened already, so we do not need to go to the Awesome Lock immediately for my behalf.
the Awesome Rock might have information that will help us if we are to go to the dome.
It holds the original treaty.
I worry that if we just go to the dome without understanding what's happening there, we'll just end up in a battle that we don't know the end of.
I agree. I would vote to go to the Awesome Lock.
Also, I've never actually been to a library, and I've heard that they're very interesting.
There's a lot of books. And for what we learned,
She's a librarian in real life.
I didn't even put that together.
In the Lars Guild, some of those books take your memories, so be careful if you were to go.
Okay.
I don't know.
I still vote for the dome. I know it may seem selfish, but also, if there were someone who would know what's going on, I imagine my sister would be able to help with that.
True. You guys want to weigh in?
Well, it's not my place to choose your destinies.
Do you know what the word guide means?
No.
It's more like
Isn't our destiny also your destiny?
I suppose. In a way.
Bill?
I'm sorry, Ori. We need to see that treaty before we go to the dome.
Okay. Well,
Wow.
we know it was lost. And we know where to find it.
Are there any places in Petrichor where, like a library, where Alina could find runes for various, like, major teleportation circle areas?
There's not like a library.
Or, like, a place?
I mean, the Petrichor Performers Association likely has like kind of places that have like stored texts and things like that, but they're of a specific genre. So probably you're not going to find like the Hitchhiker's Guide to Teleportation Circles.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, out of character, unclear. Was the vote decided? Because I did not.
To me, it felt like the Austin Lock.
Yeah. It's,
Okay.
Or are you saying we
I
should?
think it's the three of us voted for Austenlock, and the two. Well, you voted for whatever.
undecided.
Oh no! For what it's worth, I would vote the dome because
Oh.
the lives of the living trump the memories of the dead. The memories will still be there, but the living may not.
Shit, that's a good point. Why don't we marinate on it for a little bit? There's this parade that we're supposed to go see.
And it like should be happening pretty soon.
Yeah.
I think I have one more memory because I think I did the chess memories, and then I have one more memory that is the one that was taken from me.
Ooh,
So I just want to make sure that also gets reincorporated. The one that was taken from me underneath the Lenarge Guild.
Absolutely, no problem. And
So-
actually, I thought you had that one. There's one.
I thought that
you
one was
already-
first.
That
Yeah.
was the one that you got reincorporated.
I didn't have any reincorporated. I think.
There was one that you did like actually in the Lunarish Guild Hall to
Yeah.
like make sure it could actually work. And
Oh, that was the one.
yeah.
yeah.
I might be misremembering then.
No worries.
Never mind. We all good.
Wait, I got them all.
I got 'em all.
Someone else's.
This is just a piece of lint.
Wait a second.
This is some old
I can
lady's
remember it.
cake
Wait.
recipe. Too much flour.
Millis was better. Forgot about remembering it. But yeah, you do. You have that. No problem.
Okay.
Is here some around?
Hearsome is not around, and seeing as there is a big
know
parade
this.
that is about to occur, probably
That.
Probably in the parade.
checking that out.
Yeah.
Judging the
He's got his own float.
I mean,
He's
always.
probably judging the parade, but officially the judge of the tournament,
Yes.
or a judge.
So you,
Just generally judgmental.
you can see there are places where people have crowded thick, and there are like people who have created these little stands. Food is being sold, drinks are being sold. It's very easy to see the parade route because it is just chock full of people. The streets are otherwise relatively quiet, except for along this route. Where are you going to go see the parade?
Is there a
Is the Golden Pool anywhere along the parade route?
No, it's a little bit off the beaten path.
Okay.
Can we like sit on a roof somewhere like you
Yeah.
would for fireworks?
You absolutely can. Alina,
clouds.
make a perception.
Yes!
Around the rain cloud.
Cloud around the parade.
Oh no. Perception?
Yeah,
7.
7. Okay.
That's a house.
It is. You
I
look.
look for somewhere good.
Yeah, make a perception. And then he goes, "That's a house. We could sit on top of it." And you look, and it's like a it's like no, and like
It's
many
the
of roofs
outhouse.
here, because it is always
we
raining.
could. We
Are
could.
wedges.
But that's actually a really good idea.
What'd you roll?
That's a 15.
With a 15, you still see better places than that. You can see that there's actually kind of closer to the Petrichor Performers Association, a place where you can kind of make your way up along what is like a stairway that goes up to a higher part of the city. The canal runs underneath, and you can go up, and on the landing of the stairs, there's enough room where you guys could kind of make your way over to.
There's a spot up there.
Along the main street, you could also just kind of like, you're all like literal heroes. You could just wedge your way into the crowd.
We're
and kind of
all
line up.
also just literally here. Find ourselves anywhere that we want.
I want to sit down.
Oh, okay.
Seats anywhere?
Not really.
On a roof. We can sit on
Yeah,
a
you
roof.
can sit on a roof. Yeah, no problem.
All right, well, why don't you...
Up there? Anybody want to ride?
I think I'll go over to the bridge and watch from there.
Is that a good spot?
It's good enough.
Okay, fine.
Roof is better.
Yeah, fine. The roof is better. You can have fun up on the roof.
The bridge is a little bit further, so like they'll get to see the parade before you do, but you can definitely go there if you want.
How much further?
Maybe like 200 feet. It's a bit away.
Should we split up? I don't know if we should split up.
It's a parade.
Says Orias just walks into the rain away from you.
Okay, shit can go down
I
in
can
parades. I
see
used
where-
to be in marching band.
I'll be right there.
You are?
Okay.
You can see there is a little bit of commotion. The Thornholm Merchant Band. And coming from off and away from where Ori is walking, you can see rounding the corner astride a beautiful white horse, an individual who is wearing this almost emerald-looking armor. You've heard of the Order of the Jade Fang before. These are Knights of Everest who are kind of part and parcel to the Emerald Spire. They go and do different things, and this individual seems to be leading the procession. As they sort of come into vision, you see behind them, there is a horse-drawn cart that has a gigantic enchanted cage on it, and floating within this cage, you see a beautiful slender harp with a graceful design, small, light enough to probably be played in somebody's lap. It's carved from teak wood and engraved with beautiful designs of waves and fog. There's silver wire for strings, and as it gets underneath where all of you are, you can like hear as the rain hits the cage. It's almost like you can hear little bits of the harp being played as well. There's magic that radiates from this, and people like point at it. You hear somebody say, "That's an intrusion harp," and like there's this commotion happening here. It passes by all of you, and then you see the next cage also contains a beautiful magical instrument. This is a lyre. Lyre?
Liar.
Superior in every way to an ordinary lyre like me. There is like a stone texture that is carefully etched into the wood to emulate a granite grain. You hear somebody refer to this as a clee lyre. The next one that comes through is a beautiful 8-stringed Caneth mandolin. Or you're just beginning to see the parade now. Like you see this person on the horse. They're probably about like 180 feet off. But you see this mandolin carved from a rich and varied red wood. It looks almost like there are like these rivers of like a crimson liquid that move through these motes in it. It's this beautiful, beautiful mandolin with symbols of protection that are just carved across the back and then have this like little bit of gold flaking etched into it. And as this comes underneath you, you feel the same kind of ping of magic and you hear something. Can everybody but Ori make a perception check?
I dropped my dice on this
Choices.
one.
Ori's got good perception.
That's a good
That's
dice.
a good dice.
17.
Okay,
Also 17.
okay,
13.
okay.
23.
Damn.
24.
Damn. 17.
Whoa! Perceiving all the
Commotion is
things.
to be expected. There's a parade happening. In fact, let me put some commotion on.
Commotion.
Like a visual perspective.
You must fight the battle.
Fight the parade.
Surprise! It's not a parade.
Cast
It's
magic
6
missile at the
dragons.
The parade of dragons.
You've seen the dungeons, now it's time for the dragons.
So we have a happy soldier.
Curiously few
Deal with
dragons
the
so
parade.
far. Only the one.
This is the dragon parade.
You can hear that there's little bits of commotion. Those of you with 17s, you hear that, but that's to be expected at a parade. You kind of look for a second, but then you see this beautiful instrument. You're like, wow. For those of you who rolled above 20, this is a little bit more than a commotion. You can hear somebody kind of shriek out a little bit before it is abruptly muffled. You look off and to the left, and would a visual perspective be helpful?
Are you serious? We have to fight the parade? And Ori ran away.
Listen,
I said 1,000 feet of range. I didn't run away. I'm still in range.
at parades.
I have exceptional vision and space accuracy.
You want to call for a break while we set this up? Or...
I'll put it out, then we'll go to break.
As Vincent
Elven
was.
eyes can see.
Oh shit!
Don't say that anymore.
I got to send you a thing that was perfect for this.
Like,
Someday I'll find it on Instagram again if the algorithm is kind.
now? Oh.
Oh, this thing has a concave.
It has a heft. Oh, camera, down. Perfect.
Alrighty, damn. That's
Malice is just on the roof already. Look at that.
you guys are still left from where you were from the last encounters, but if you want, the roof that you have on, or the place that you have put yourself is kind of along here. And you actually waited a little longer, and so he is right about here.
And am I down here?
And then this parade.
I'm down here.
Yeah, you're like probably right about here.
Myself like
Yeah.
for now.
And so we can
Or he's
shuffle
up on the
this all
wall.
forward. I'll put this on the combat cam.
Minis.
You can see a little bit of what we can see in this parade, but you can see it in much greater detail at Alberon RPG if people take photos.
I'm working on it.
As this commotion begins, and you can see from behind, suddenly a large group of individuals kind of rush out of alleys from both sides. We are going to cut away for a quick break. You'll see a countdown on your screen, and we will be back at the end of it. See you then. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Courts of Everest, our original D&D campaign. I am Joe Treff, and if you stuck with us through the break, thank you so much. Talon, Gunnar, all the people who are tuning in, thank you for joining us. Whoa, it almost looked like Hannah wasn't there, even though she was.
I was here.
Yeah,
There was clearly a face there.
yeah, no, it's a very weird kind of glitch, but we're going to play D&D. Let me go ahead and pull up our battle cam. All right, let me change the music because in this moment, the happy crowd becomes a little bit of a panicking crowd.
Not quite
And
so
the
So we're
8-bit
up
happy music is going to shift just a little bit more. And as these individuals kind of rush out onto the streets, could I have everybody roll for initiative?
Oh my god.
Is everybody on this rooftop except Ori?
Correct. Ori is over here.
Okay.
What is that? Oh, that's a bad number.
Bad is fucking locked in right now.
Is Vincent locked in right now?
Vince is not locked in, but Valis is more Valis than that Valis is ever Valis.
Cool.
I'm just gonna. Alina's gonna be up here. At the
I'm
top
sorry,
'cause she's
Spice. I
showing
dropped
off.
you on the floor.
And also, there's just not enough space for everybody to see. Y'all,
Adjust your placement if you want. I will not be held responsible if you don't like where you are.
Anybody
Over here.
Anybody natural 20?
Wait.
This guy.
All right.
Oh my
What is your
God.
dexterity modifier?
What? Hate that question. Let's see.
I'm gonna guess.
0?
0? All
0.
right. So, Valis, you are starting us off second.
That's why I hated that.
Anybody 25 to 20?
21.
21 for Alina. All right. 20 to 15.
16.
16 for Cheshire. 14 for Minka. 14 for Ori. All right. And then Billy, are you joining us?
Billy is a 12.
Okay, Billy is sitting at a 12. All right. So the way that this works out, somebody is starting us off. Valis is following them. Alina is after that. The rest of the, as Matt has kind of labeled them, banditos are going to be going after that. Then Cheshire, then Minka, then Ori, and then at the very
I
end,
just said bandits.
Oh, bandits. Sorry.
Banditos, that's cute.
Someone
All
said
right,
banditos.
so starting off, there is an individual who suddenly pops out of a crate. They erupt wearing all this kind of green sort of gear, and you can see they are the sort of bandit-looking individual wearing green right, looming over top of that dwarf. You can see in this moment they scan the room, and they are going to rush forwards, and as they do, a knife appears, almost spectral in nature, in their hand, and they are going to stab the dwarf directly in front of them. That is going to be a hit. All right, so you watch as the sort of crate pops off. They come out and just look over. They point at the middle sort of crate out of all of these, the middle cage that is holding this mandolin, and they point and they say, "Get that one, boys!" And there is this like general rah, rah of all these different bandits who pour out of two opposite alleyways, and this rush begins. They take their second attack against the horse that is pulling the cart directly in front as they close the distance right there. That is going to be a hit on the horse.
I don't know why I don't do
And you can hear this loud neigh as they slash across the horse, and the horse falls to the ground. Not moving. The cart kind of clumps and falls forward a little bit. The cage almost rocks over, but stays upright. That seems to have kind of stalled that part of the parade at the very least. But that is the last action of Jackknife Jim, and that is going to bring us over to Valis.
Jackknife.
Jackknife Jim,
Someone
no.
in the crowd goes,
Oh my god, it's Jackknife Jim! Why do they call him that? It's the name he was given at birth.
I think that's his brother. Spare time.
And I was going to say, he's actually just an excellent diver.
All right,
So,
Valis.
yes, killed the horse and also killed a guy in front of
Yeah,
him.
just like a dwarf. You could see he was drinking a beer. He was like waving at the float, and then this guy pops out behind him and just stabs him 3 times in the neck, shoves him down, and then rushes past him to kill the horse.
Oh my gosh, he just killed a guy.
Okay, are they definitely dead?
They look pretty dead, yeah.
Oh, they look pretty dead. Oh boy. Okay, All right, and then I am
Joe
going
is.
to.
It's okay. I'm still within range.
I know.
Let's see.
You're behind that giant wall.
You didn't get to make a perception check.
It's okay.
I'm gonna yell to the rest of the Wandering Hearts and say the parade is under attack.
Okay.
And then.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Oh, let's see. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to defend the attack, but also if I just jump in right away, I don't want them to think that I'm the one attacking the
What are
parade.
you doing?
So I'm gonna
He's wearing
cast.
green after all.
Okay. I'm gonna cast. So these are all cages that have the instruments in them. Is that correct?
Correct. There's an instrument in each one of these cages.
Okay.
After the one in the middle?
And they have killed the horse for the one in the back.
For the second to the last one. Yeah.
Oh, the fourth
Oh,
one.
sorry,
This
my
one.
fault. Yes. Yeah.
So now this one is not being drawn by anything.
Correct.
This horse is just a
You
capybara.
can see there is just a dead horse down on its side. It is still attached to this cart, but the cart is immobile.
What kind of how the card is an object, correct?
Correct.
How big?
The cart would be considered, I believe, a large.
Oh.
Let me just double check here.
I see where this is going. The card will defend itself.
The cart is only a large item.
I cast animate objects. The card is definitely one of them. And let's just I'll also do some barrels around the area as well, just to
I
get
hope
up to the number.
The instrument is magically
Okay.
chained down.
And then I will move. Let's see.
We've killed the bandit.
Where is
Cast mending.
this? The bandit that
that.
just popped out.
Correct, in the green.
guy.
It's one of those
I'll jump down. How much
Okay.
movement is that?
So jumping down, if you are just, are you action jumping, like using an athletics check to jump down?
Movement jump.
Movement jump. Okay. So movement jump, no problem. Make a free athletics check then to see if you are able to maintain your footing.
jump.
Okay. Athletics check. And that will be a 16.
A 16, you jump, you bend your knees at just the right time. You take only a single point of damage and you do not fall prone. You land hard on the ground. Next to you is this guy who is holding what looks like half of a meat pie, and they are looking not sure what to do, and you startle them. They drop the pie, they turn and swing a piece of paper at you, but doesn't do anything. What else?
I'll yell to this guy, take cover, there are bandits. And how much movement do I have left?
That's 5 feet of movement, so
Okay.
you have most of your movement left.
1, 2. I guess I'll just move.
Checks makes. Not a sponsor.
I can't move on top of these without an action, right?
You can, that would be difficult terrain.
Alright, in that case, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Just move over. Yeah, I'm on top of this barrel now.
All right, you run, and with the last bits of your movement, you jump up on top of this barrel. You can see over this case that is holding this magical mandolin, this dead horse. And you see this individual just pull their dagger out. They look up and around at the rooftops. Anything else, Valis?
I still have an action, so I guess I'll dodge.
Okay, you take the dodge
It's a
action
bonus action because
in
of
this
the item.
place. Yeah, so Valis is in a weird place where bonus actions are more valuable than actions in many conditions. But anything else, Valis?
Wild. No, that's it.
All right, you take the dodge action. That brings us to Alina. And then the rest of the Gutter Cutter Bandits are on deck.
The gutter cutters.
This one lady, very observational, is pointing at everybody.
She's the official dog crier.
Did I see the guy kill the horse and the dwarf?
Yeah, for sure.
Looking out, is it readily apparent which dudes are the bandits?
For the most part,
Like, without
you
making a check?
I would say for Alina, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
But for Alina, absolutely, in that like all goblins are bad. Like,
Oh, damn
yes,
it. Okay.
you see the bad guys,
Shit. I'm so sorry, everybody. Alina's
Alice
racism
just
strikes
did
again.
and it's everyone.
Yeah.
Grungar bad. Goblin bad.
So Alina is has already activated flight because that's how she got up there. She is going to fly down to here.
We've lost all of our small flight stands. We don't know where they've gone.
That's okay. I was gonna land on
Yeah,
like
no worries.
we'd say that's 35 feet. It's hard to tell with the hypotenuse. Or
30, 35.
Flight
I
stand.
think that's 40 feet to the space that is the corner of that cage.
this. Okay.
I believe so.
So she'll hover over the dead horse.
Okay,
Which should, I think, be exactly the right amount.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. You can be right next to it.
Yeah.
But you hover over top of this dead horse. How high up are you?
I think it's like at a level with the cages.
Okay, so about 8-9 feet up.
Yeah, not super high because she wants to be able to look these bastards in the eye. And so yeah, so that's her movement, and then she's going to actually she'll be a little higher because I want to be able to have a clean shot at any of these guys.
Sure.
So a bit higher up. She's gonna look at Jimmy the Jackknife or whatever his name is.
Jackknife Jim.
Yeah, Jackknife Jim. And be like, you shouldn't steal things or kill people or horses. Not in that order, though, of importance. Murder is okay. And then pew.
Okay.
I think the wandering hearts have done all of those things.
You didn't see that, lady. All right. Eldritch Blast. Eldritch Blast. Actually, because I had already been flying, that means I've still got my bonus action. So I'm gonna hex this fool.
Okay.
Hex the fool.
Hex in the fool, and then I will cast Eldritch Blast.
Hex?
Hex, please, if you please. All right, so that's 3 beams. I'm gonna hex you, Jackknife Jim. Okay. Yum. That's a 25, a 26, and a 28.
All 3 of those hit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This guy's dead as
Okay.
kill anyone ever again. Probably.
Killing people is wrong.
Unless it comes
Okay, so
Not
we've
lethal.
got. So hex is.
killing is wrong.
We could get Ballast to non-lethally slash his throat.
17.
Bring him to justice and guard Gary.
26. 41 points of force damage and 9 points of necrotic.
Just 50 even points of damage.
Yeah.
You can see you shouldn't
Tasty.
kill anybody. That's bad. You can see he looks up. Rain is like pouring down through this long hair and beard, and you could say he just goes, "You shouldn't," and then again and again, and it like knocks him almost to the ground. But he looks up and he smiles, and there's blood in his teeth. They're like rotting teeth. You could see like this is not a healthy individual.
Also, brush your teeth.
But he smiles.
But not that hard,
and he
God.
says, I see you.
Okay.
That is
My line.
Yeah, so then as a free action, I'm going to instruct Rez to. Is it free action or is it bonus action? I don't know. Sorry, just a second.
No worries.
It's been a while since I've actually used bonus action.
Have you used your bonus action yet?
Yes, I used it to cast Hex. Alright, this is gonna take me a second, so I
Is it a bonus action to command a familiar?
no,
but
I believe it's an action to command.
command. You
I
can
can't
command
do
the
that.
familiar to take the attack action as a bonus action.
Oh, okay.
That's with the invocation of the Chainmaster, but just what about just regular old help action?
DM, how do you rule?
I mean, I feel like at this point in combat, it's always kind of like Rez's go-to, right?
Yeah, but mechanically he can't choose to do stuff on his own. He has to be told to do it. Unless you cast a very particular spell, which has not
Yeah,
been cast.
I think at this moment you need to be able to. Yeah.
Okay, so as a pre-action, Alina's gonna be like, just hang tight, buddy. I think we're gonna need you in the fray, but I don't know what you'll do yet.
All right, I'll just watch from here for now.
Yeah, just watch.
No problem. That is your turn, Alina. That brings us to the Gutter Cutter Bandit. So, they have been instructed to go after the middle area. Sorry, I'm just going to invade your space here a little bit. You made yourself a very good target.
I do that, don't I?
And so this guy is going to
Got your arm around.
attack the groin.
Kind of the point of him.
Slap you.
A familiar can just act on its own turn.
And then I'm going to run over here.
In combat, it rolls its own initiative.
Oh,
We've
it's a lot of
homebrewed that,
movement
and
for
then
this battle. Excuse me, I'm just going to lean over here. All right, and he is going to go and dash around this corner. He is going to go and start working on this cage, and there should be one more. Is this him right here?
That's definitely a figure.
Yeah, that's him. Look at that. He's going to go attack that horse.
Wait, that horse is dead. Oh no, that horse is still up.
Yeah, he's that horse. Okay, so 6 of these Gutter Cutter Bandits, 3 from either side, kind of close into the gap. For you, Valis, 2 of them make it into a place where they can attack you. 1 draws their short sword, and they step forward to swing it at you
With disadvantage.
once at disadvantage.
Because we dodge and
Valis does a 16 hit.
it does not.
And so they swing with you up and in space. You block it with your shield. They're almost
Valis has learned a new
backwards.
technique.
But as the
Sit back
shield
and do
and the
nothing.
sword are like
Delegate.
flung wide, you can see behind them this individual, the other one,
Manage
takes a
it.
dagger and just throws it. And they huck it end over end. And they will roll flat, as this would normally be at advantage. Valis does a 21 hit.
Does hit.
Valis, you take 7 points of slashing damage plus an additional.
Come on, we've killed giants. This is nothing.
7 points of piercing damage. And you. No, that's it. All right. That is yes.
it does not require any kind of action to simply tell a familiar to do anything other than attack.
There you go. So you tell
I'll tell Rez to go help, go help.
yourself.
Go. She's gonna tell him to go help Billy.
Okay, you got it. Like, spins in a big circle looking for Billy, finds Billy, heads off in that direction.
Right.
That is the ones that can reach you, Valis. The other one has to, like, dash around to the other corner. You can see they take their dagger out, but rather than put it in, like, a throwing position, they grab the padlock and they begin to kind of jam it in. You see, they make a lock-picking attempt.
Wait, so for this thing?
No, all the way in the very back over there.
Oh, okay.
He is unsuccessful in that attempt, though. You get the sense that very quick attempt is this. Over on the other side of the encounter map, there is 1, 2, 3 who are going to.
Yonder? Or yonder?
Man, most of you are really far away. The one that came up to the horse is going to take their attack on the horse.
No.
That is going to be a 21, which definitely hits the horse.
Does the horse get like a...
The horse takes maximum damage. As they take
Maximum damage.
13 points of damage and are absolutely just obliterated. You can knock that horse career down.
for the parade?
You don't see, the only backup horse that you see is this gentleman who's all the way up at the front. And they're riding it, so not really.
I was going to say, the gentleman is the horse?
There should be more security for this, like, thing.
For sure.
But then again, I don't manage this event, so what do I know?
There you go. That is all the Gutter Cutter
live in
bandits for this
Boston,
round.
where-
That brings us to Cheshire. Okay, you are on deck. Cheshire, what are you doing?
No.
Wondering
Cheshire's going to
farts.
run
Are
her
the
way up
wondering
to
farts.
the closest
Hey, who
part.
farted?
Okay.
That's what I was wondering about farts.
And then any of the bandits within 60 feet of her is mass suggestion. Stop what you're doing. Put everything back. Gather your brothers and go turn yourself in.
Okay.
That is a wisdom saving throw.
Phenomenal.
So, again, there's some of these people that you know for sure are bandits. You see somebody try to stab Valis, probably a bandit. You see somebody throw a throwing dagger, hits Valis, that's probably a bandit.
Criminals in a radius.
You see this lady go, oh my god, that's Jackknife Jim. That's probably a bandit. Outside of those three, you know that there's more. Who else are you targeting? Oh, well, you see a guy stab a horse. Unclear if he just hates a horse.
I saw his opportunity.
You also saw Alina attack somebody.
That's
for what it's worth.
But you
that was Jackknife Jim.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yes, any of the ones that are obviously being attacked.
Okay, that's 4.
Any of the ones who are attacking carriages.
Okay. Yeah, four total so far have made like aggressive attack moves.
Anyone else who is moving in the same direction as the ones attacking.
Okay. How many targets do you get total?
12.
12.
Good lord.
So not only do you get all the Gutter Cutter Bandits and Jackknife Jim, in terms of people who are moving towards this space, you can see off and closer to where Hannah is, there is, I believe, a purple grung.
Perfect.
And this purple grung you actually recognize.
Perry!
This is actually
No, it's Gary.
Gary.
It's Gary the guard.
Gary
the
is the
guard.
guard, and he's running forward, but then you say
no.
suggestion.
If I know Gary,
You know Gary.
then I wouldn't target
Okay,
Gary.
yeah, so no problem.
Anybody else I don't know.
And that is what kind of save?
It's a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. So first, Jackknife Jim. That is a natural 20.
No.
And
Silvery
No.
Silvery
Reroll
bar.
that
Oh.
shit.
Sure, you can use your reaction. Go for it.
What kind of save?
Silvery barbs is just a reroll of a roll.
Yeah, it just happens.
Yeah, well, I forget what kind of save
Wisdom
it was.
save.
Wisdom save. That is just a 16.
That was a failure.
All right. So mass suggestion on Jackknife Jim. For the Gutter
He's
Cutter
like almost
Bandits.
dead. He's like, okay, I guess I better go.
What if we accidentally like expose a different crime?
Gary's
In
like,
this moment,
I did let my cousin
Cheshire,
go.
you feel every single person fail on that mass suggestion check. And you tell them all to do what?
Stop. Put everything down. Take all of your friends and brothers. And go turn yourselves in.
One thing I have to check about mass suggestion. I believe they're making this an advantage. Because you are in combat with them. One moment.
I don't think so, actually.
Wisdom save.
Also, I haven't taken an action before, so they wouldn't necessarily know that I'm in combat with them.
Excellent point.
Very nice. So in this moment, you feel all of them fail that save against mass suggestion. And in this moment, you hear, for you, Alina, you're looking at this individual Jackknife Jim. You say like he shouldn't kill anybody. You blast him 3 times. He turns at you and he goes, "I see you," and he just drops his knives. And you can see up and down the street. There's like these
You're right.
clink, 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 clink. And at this moment, like kind of like falling almost over themselves is a Gary the guard. And they just go, "That's right, put it down." And like they see everybody just drops their weapons, and Gary's feeling himself on this one. But
Hell yeah.
because mass suggestion was massively successful, you are all out of initiative.
Nice. Incredible.
Does Alina recognize that that was mass suggestion, or does she think that she was like extra intimidating like
Insight
Gary?
check. Hard to tell.
Can I do Arcana instead? No, the answer.
You're also like,
To be fair,
yeah,
you
I
have seen
fucking
Cheshire
did.
cast it before.
That is true.
But she is like a building and a half away from
18.
you.
Okay. With an 18.
But also, I know about magic. I know that spells do things.
With an 18, certainly this is magic. And though you don't see Cheshire as like the source of it from where you are and with everything else happening, it happens so quickly. And like you could see he just goes, "I see you." And in confusion, he just looks at you and just walks. And that feels like some kind of charm. That feels like charm.
Thank you, Cheshire. Okay, that's good.
So convincing.
But you make your way kind of, you can see like this parade, a little bit disheveled. Gary the guard has run up now. This individual who is a member of the Jade Fang, unable to even take their turn in initiative, like is off their horse. They're running over. And what are you all doing?
Ori was like about to get ready to shoot. It was like, oh,
Alina is going to, now that she sees that the bandits are leaving, she's going to just call out to the crowd, like, be calm, everybody. The situation is under control. Just give us a moment to clear the area, and then we'll resume the revelries.
Make a persuasion check.
Billy sits down.
I think Minka's gonna run down the stairs and see if there's anyone who's obviously
Tonight,
injured.
28.
Well,
Oh, no, sorry, 26.
With the 26, Alina still flying above everything. Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Blast. This guy is like, okay, I see you. Walks away. And people like listen to you. Immediately they pay attention. And in this moment, you can see people like all looking up and nodding. And the tone shifts. You could hear people sound relatively happy. People kind of like, yeah, okay. And like begin to cheer up. Then you do hear this woman go, that horse is still dead. And like a little bit more somber over on the back of this parade.
Yep,
The
as I
Jade
said.
Fang member comes over.
Truly a eulogy tournament now.
can someone clean up that horse?
That's more or less what I meant. Like, give us a moment to clear the area of this horse.
I like
Dead horses and guy.
I like to go over to the horse and just kind of like, you
There's a
know,
dead guy there too, guys.
All right.
give it some last rites.
Okay. So you kneel, you put your knee on the dwarf's face, you kind of crush it to the ground, and you just blast right on this horse.
Wait, what dwarf?
Very first thing that happened was that Jack
And the
Jim
dwarf.
killed a dwarf.
You stand up, you're like, oh shit. You put your hand down on the dwarf, you look up, his wife, his children are all.
God, oh my god.
No. You can go down, you can perform rites for the dwarf, for the horses as well. The individual who comes up, like, they're wearing all of this, like, glorious armor. You can see they come over and they begin to say, all of you, please clear the way. And then they see you begin to recite, and this is kind of like the same rites that you learned within your order. They would see this, and observing it, they would stop talking. They'd take the sword, put the point into the ground, and just close their eyes and stand there with you as you perform these rites. They recognize this ritual. Are the rest of you like waiting for Valis to perform the rites?
Or he's making his way back over.
Billy just sits down on the roof. I guess I've done my part by doing nothing.
Like, I know, I didn't get to do anything either.
Which instrument
Thanks, buddy.
was it in the fourth that they seemed to be going
So
after? Was that the
disturbing the show.
Right?
that was not the mandolin, the one after it?
Yeah, so in this moment you can see this is a flute of pure silver. It almost looks like it has liquid lines that form a wave racing away from the actual place that you would put up to your mouth, where the reed is. I think it's. I don't know anything about instruments, guys.
Flutes do not have reeds.
They do not.
It's where you would put the
They
drumstick.
do sit in the
Some,
woodwind.
some flutes have reeds, but not the silver flute that you're describing.
Yeah, so it's where the USB port for the flute would be. You can see like the waves racing away from them. This is the one that they seem to be kind of targeting, though this is in a position where it would kind of break the chain and create the most chaos as well.
You must never break the chain.
And if you don't know.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's
After I finish
instinct.
the rites,
Yeah.
I'd like to ask the Jade Fang member if he would want help summoning a steed to help carry the rest of the instruments down the parade.
He nods and he says, I have my horse, and I'll use that for one, but if you can summon another, I'd be in your debt.
I would start summoning, casting Find Steed, and tell him it would take about 10 minutes, and then I find
10
Steed.
And he says, it's very fortunate for us to have a member of the Tearful Dove here. He takes his horse and like begins to like unhook one of the horses that you've given rights to and attach it to his own. You could see Gary the Grung like as much as possible or also trying to help, but really kind of like more like notices that he can't do anything and is like, all right, move it along, people. Like kind of keeping
funny.
the streets as clear as he can. It is probably about 10:30 in the morning. It's raining heavily here. It is the 9th of High Sun. You know the eulogy tournament is tomorrow. You have successfully stopped a raid on what could potentially be your prize. You can now see your prize laid out in front of you. But what are you doing with the remainder of today?
I have a confession to make. I don't know what a tearful dove is.
Oh, thank God you said it.
The Jade Fang person like finishes hooking the horse up, And he turns and he says, "Your companion is a member of the Order of the Tearful Dove. This is a group that celebrates death and the lives that are attached to them."
So is Valus's like main order the House of Sorrowful Rain, or is that separate?
Are you asking that out loud?
Kara's asking that.
The House of Sorrowful Rain is a place.
Yeah.
The Order of the Tearful Dove is an organization.
Yeah, like, dude, is that like associated with them, or is
Yes.
that?
Did you say that out loud as Minka? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, I guess I would explain to Minka in the group what the Order of the Tearful Dove is, which would be...
So the Order of the Tearful Dove, really like this group that they are one of the very few groups that is sort of allowed to practice necromancy. They do it mostly through the practice of speaking with the dead, but they are largely responsible for preparing the dead for whatever rites may kind of befall them. They help people who are dealing with grief as well. You've all seen the House of Sorrowful Rain. That is a place that is specifically keyed for that, and dealing with grief and the sort of things attached with it.
Isn't it also like a healing aspect to it? Doing
Yeah.
like a year
Yeah,
of service?
not for yes, a year of service, and many people choose for that to be much more like spiritual healing. There are people who, within the Order of the Tearful Dove, are like true healers. And there are many wandering healers who get their training from the Order, but then later leave, less like leave because like, oh, I don't believe in this anymore, and more because it isn't something that everybody stays in forever. It is a place that a lot of people get training. But there are people who spend their whole lives as part of it too. It's largely seen as a benevolent or neutral organization. By most.
And Valus explains that that's where he started to learn his healing arts.
I guess, is there anything we can do now? Or
Has the parade basically just kind of moved on at this point?
Yeah, like,
Or
they're-
like-
they're hooking the horses
Yeah.
up, but like people have largely dispersed at your request. Telling people to kind of like give you space and everything. At 26, people listened. You have this whole street kind of open. You can see there's like the Gary the Grung now, like further at the end. Like, okay, folks, you got to just go around this time. Sorry about the inconvenience, and just like really keeping this whole place clear for you.
I think our job is done here.
okay.
Great work, Cheshire. I assume that was
Just
you.
being so rude.
I know, you really set them straight.
rude.
Thank goodness you were here, you know?
I know.
Is there anything else wacky going on?
Define wacky.
You look down the street. You see 5
There's an
mystical,
eldritch
magical
chowder.
instruments held in enchanted cages. In a town where it always rains, that borders the edges of the Feywild, a mystical mirror of the material plane, and a number of other locations around a fantasy world. There's a lot of weird stuff happening. Sorry.
Please.
Perhaps there's some detail you could cast an eye on.
Given that there are 5 magically locked items within cages in a public street that is currently lowly occupied,
Sure.
this feels like perhaps if these banditos were like the vanguard, if you will.
Sure.
There is
Make an investigation
something
check with that eye for
greater at
detail.
play.
Ori sees banditos around every
Like,
batito.
the danger may not be over, you know.
Yeah.
Very good.
Because these items are still very much present
Yeah.
on display here. Investigation 25.
So you look around this space, and for what you can see, kind of glancing around from location to location, you look at these barrels and boxes, and you can see people are like similar to what your thought process is. People are like checking in barrels and crates and making sure there isn't other people that will pop out. As people pull like a cloth over this dead dwarf, People are going through the belongings in that area, and you don't see anything like people lurking or hidden. You do see, like, down the street, a group of very confused looking rainy bandits, like, marching off towards the guard barracks, where the only guard that you have all met in town is not. But they're going to turn themselves in, and they're going to have to wait in the rain to do so.
It's the last 24 hours.
Nice.
Maybe we should check in with them after they've been properly arrested, or at least see if they had what their goal was outside of the obvious.
Couldn't hurt. Seems like that might be like a job for later today, maybe?
Or for Gary, I mean, technically.
Yeah.
Gary will run up at this and go, "Okay, guys, I can't keep moving people around forever. You think it's okay if people start walking through now?"
Yeah, we'll take we will ensure the safe ending of the parade, and you go process the new prisoner.
Oh, thank God. This is way out of my depth. And he goes and flap, 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 runs down the street.
I'm guessing I finished summoning my.
Okay.
He stops and goes, "Oh, wait." Flap, 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 runs back. "No, you did a great job." "Okay, bye, guys." Flap, 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 runs away.
Wasn't fishing for that.
But he vanishes off and towards the barracks.
So I guess at this point I finished summoning my steed and it's hooked up and the parade has gone on.
No problem. So you finish finding the steed. And you've cast this before during this campaign? I can't remember.
I don't think you
I don't think he has.
I have, but it was specifically a water steed at
Yeah,
the time.
right.
And he gave me like a
What the fuck?
So what does this look like?
land steed.
Yeah.
It would look
It's
like
got legs.
an elk stag.
Fish with legs.
Oh, an elk stag. That's pretty good.
Appearing in the rain, almost like mist at first, and then taking a more luminous, glowing shape, is this like glowing, mystical stag. And without missing a beat, this individual gestures their head to you, and they say, "Thank you very much," in unusual form. But they hook it up to the parade, and you have all these cages now hooked up to something that can move them.
So let's watch the parade then. The procession.
Yep.
Procession.
There it goes.
Should we join? I feel like we should
How long?
join the parade procession now because
Just
we're
bit.
gonna watch it.
Guess I'll ask
Right.
the
Make sure
Jade
it gets
Fang member.
finished.
Yeah.
How long is the rest of the procession?
It goes through the remainder of this road, and then into the Petrichor Performers Association once more.
Do I have a sense of how long that will take in terms of time?
You see about 180 feet away, where Ore was stationed up, the sort of gatehouse to the Petrichor Performers. It's very close.
Then I guess we'll just go with it then.
Sure.
Yeah.
Follow up the bring up the rear.
Make
You
sure nothing else
accompany the
happens.
harp, the lyre, the mandolin. You have the flute. You have a gray drum that, as it kind of bumps over a sort of cobblestone, there are little sparks that come out and radiate different colors and patterns. But there are people that just ogle these instruments. You hear people kind of like whispering about them. But there is no more bandit attacks. No more individuals rush out of the streets to try to take these. And uneventful is the rest of the trip to the Petrichor Performers Association.
While we're like going with the procession,
Yeah.
I'll like sat out next to Cheshire and say, "Hey Cheshire, if we win, do you know which one you'd want?"
Looking at them, do any of them catch my eye?
All
joy.
of them. They're
In
all
particular, though.
in particular. I mean, make an Arcana check.
Gladly. 30.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a good number.
They are
Arcana
so sparkly.
So with a 30, I mean, you've heard of many of these instruments. Each one of these is actually very similar to an instrument that you're pretty familiar with. These all, though, in these cages, the one that you have, it's uncommon, but you've seen other people have it. These range from rare to very rare. They're much harder to find. You see amongst them a... One moment here. I have so many notes open now.
We got him.
You really did. Okay. You can see this harp. It is slender and graceful. You get the sense that it has abilities to maybe cause things to fly and, very similar to what your instrument is capable of, with perhaps a few more tricks. The clear, the one that is behind that, this probably has the ability. There is something about the texture of it that looks like stone that gives you the sense that this has more like rock and earth-like abilities. The mandolin, this mandolin feels powerfully protective, and it seems as if the abilities kind of associated with it would be much more defensive in nature. The flute seems to have, you look at these forms, liquid, like they are racing away from the caster. You get the sense that this can probably create a wave of some kind of power. And then the gray drums, these drums, though they look the most mundane, probably amongst the most rare that are here. This is something that in all of these instruments, if you play them without being attuned to them, they'll probably hurt you. Not just like a little bit, probably a pretty good amount. But this particular drum, beyond being able to fly, become invisible, perhaps float, you might even be able to do things like cast Mass Cure Wounds. There's a couple cool things that are attached to that.
There are some promising prospects in that.
Maybe we should go rehearse some more then. And talk about our next move.
Have I seen any other performers at this procession?
Yeah, you've passed by a number of people who all have instruments with them.
I guess the ones that we're up against. Because we know who our first round of competition is, right?
Do we? I don't think
The
so.
everlasting rain.
Extended rain.
Extended rain. Never mind. It's just longer, not forever.
More specifically, I think we knew that they were gonna actually be at the Performers Guild. So I guess when we get to the end of the procession, are there any of the other competitors notably around?
Sure. Give me 1 second. Pull up my person tracker.
Where are they today?
It's the worst one was the Enclave, because the Enclave had different planes that they could be in too. For a little bit. That was a 4-page person tracker, and also had status for alive, injured, and dead.
I rolled really bad
my God.
for who was alive and dead for
Yeah,
the enclave.
I made a lot of rolls for each person.
Oh no. Oh no, you made Alana roll?
I don't know if you remember that, but
I do.
Christ.
I do,
I
and
feel like
remember.
Alana feels personally responsible for each of those dead ones.
As intended.
Yeah.
perhaps. So looking around here, as you make your way over to this space, you actually would see, Ori, individuals who have been described to you as a band called Extended Rain. Your very first rivals. They are within the Petrichor's Performers Association. You can see they are in the Bard's Banquet right now, kind of crowding around the edge, looking from there. All of them are eating, but you see an athletic halfling with neatly parted auburn hair and a gigantic unkempt beard, friendly grin even as he's shoveling this food into his face. He's wearing suspenders attached to a baggy linen set of trousers, no shirt. There's just stew down his bare chest. You see no instrument on this guy. The person behind him is lanky. They're a tall human. You can see across their back, as an adventurer like you might have a sword, like a claymore or something. They have a big banjo. And they're wearing a tan tunic, black trousers, and what looks almost like a newsy cap, but it is much more basic and has been treated with wax to keep off the rain. You can see holding a massive bass in their winged kind of arms an Aarakocra. They look almost like a green and yellow parrot on their kind of plumage. And you can see they too wear suspenders. And finally, holding a wooden jug and taking a long glug out of it and then putting it down, and you can hear as the liquid sloshes this kind of musical. This individual is a grung who is bright blue, and they are kind of just sitting on the top of a barrel. They also wear suspenders. And that is the Extended Rain Band. You see the instruments kind of vanish past them and into the actual guild itself. You can see the member of the Jade Fang who's riding towards the back of this procession turns, and they just nod to all of you as they move off and into the Petrichor Performers Association as well. All of you are now outside of the Performers Association. You can see your rivals just through the gatehouse. What are you all doing?
I forget, what do we want to do today?
Practice.
Practice.
Besides practice?
I think we should talk more about where we'll go next.
I think you mentioned Tundran's pop-up. Did we want to go to that?
That is today as well.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
We should probably see him.
Didn't we want him to sing something?
Yep.
Yes.
I don't know if he'll do it today.
Today is the day that he will.
Can do it today.
Can.
I just-
Hopefully will. Go ask.
That sounds...
Wouldn't he be busy running his pop-up?
Well, not all day. The pop-up's closed at... What time did he say it closed? He said
It didn't.
Oh.
We don't know.
We just know we'll find him there.
Probably-
Tundon doesn't give a lot of information voluntarily.
We could go...
Really?
We could go see him and maybe make arrangements to find him later.
He does make food. We could go for a meal. It is a pop-up. And then perhaps he will tell us then.
Sure. Yeah.
In the
I
meantime,
am
I
hungry.
think we should probably practice if we are to have any chance at this silly competition.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
You all want to go back to the Golden Fool? Do some practicing there? Maybe Hearsome will be there.
Well, we do have to get costumes.
Yeah, he said he wanted to costume us.
You say it's silly, Ori, but I think you're having a little bit of fun. A little bit? Tiny bit?
Just a smidgen?
I wish that I were able to enjoy.
Anything.
You hear in your mind, yeah, good one over there. Fucking roasted over.
Such is the life of a buzzkill.
Funeral procession. But I
It's
have
funeral procession.
a
Fun!
few more pressing concerns on my mind.
Understandable.
I do like music, though.
You should enjoy the party.
Yeah.
Where are you making your way back to?
The Golden Fool?
Okay. Easy enough, you turn back and walk along the parade route. You pass where the body of the dwarf has been removed, where there is still kind of like the covered down horses. A little harder to get those out of the street than a dwarf. But there's people who are gathering to take care of that. And you trace your way back to the center of town, and then a little bit beyond to the Golden Fool. You see the statue rise up, each of your faces reflected in it magically, as if by illusion. And past that, you make your way into the actual Golden Fool itself, where the same bartender is still polishing this glass. But because it is 10 o'clock, and a great place for us to stop, this is where we end for the evening. And when we resume, it will be the 9th of High Sun, and you can choose where to go next. Thank you for joining us for this session of Adventures in Alberon Courts of Everest. Whew. We will be back next week, but if you can't wait that long, some really fucking good news for you.
Tone shift!
Sunday, you can join us live right here at noon for Fallout Blackhearted Texas. It is an original story. I wrote it. I'm going to be running it for a lot of my friends that you see right here, and a couple people who are joining us who are either in the chat or elsewhere. It is going to be a blast, and we're very excited to present this for you. Modifius's game system is phenomenal for storytelling. Matt is slowly, I don't know.
Just keep going.
Okay.
Just
It's going to be a phenomenal time. That is on Sunday. But please, whatever you do, stay safe. It is wild out there. We'll see you next week.